Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ESA Siege. It is an honor and a privilege to have you here. I'm Slayzilla, joined with the wonderful Lynx. And Lynx, you know what? I think we have a pretty solid game set up for tonight. We have two series, and their first one will be Visionary and Granny Frost going head to head. What do we know about these two guys?
Well, what we know about both of them is that they haven't exactly had the best season so far. Granny Frost had a marginally better one than Visionary. They're currently residing in fifth place with 1 point. And by marginally better, I do mean marginally. They have one more point than Visionary, who currently reside in last place with 0. Now, Visionary last week, they played Valkyrie and they basically got stomped in a 2-0 series. And Granny Frost, their series is much closer, but they haven't had the best of luck so far. That's for certain.
I mean, to be fair to Visionary, as fair as we can be, they have faced some of the top teams in the league.
That's certainly true.
Slaughterhouse, number one, Nomads, number three, and then Valkyrie, number two. But let's talk about the map bans. Let's check out where we're going and where we're not going, because we do have a pretty interesting, would not be the correct word to use. We have a pretty basic
Yeah.
setup. Consulate Coastline get banned out first. That means our first map pick from Visionary will be Clubhouse, one of the core three. But now Oregon is moving in, so it's more of a core four. Cafe, another one. Villa won't be seen. Surprisingly, that one's going to get banned out right there. And then Theme Park follows it, leaving Oregon. The new boy on the street is coming back, and boy oh boy, I do enjoy a little bit of Oregon play.
I do. It's still certainly one of the newer maps in the pool, so teams are still experimenting with what exactly they can't get away with in terms of strategies. Theme Park, when it was first introduced, didn't have that same sort of luck. It kind of got shoved on the back burner, and Oregon has certainly seemed to be, as you said, part of that new core three, core four of maps that are getting a lot of love from these teams joined by Clubhouse and Cafe, which are both currently, as you said, in the map pool. Oregon and
Mhm.
Cafe was both played by Visionary last week, and they lost Oregon 7-2 and lost Cafe 7-1. But as you said, they've played some of the top teams so far in the league. So maybe that's not necessarily the best sample size. And when they fight someone more of their caliber, it could be a bit of a closer match.
It could indeed. It'll be interesting to see. Granny Frost did overcome Powerhouse. That's their one win. They too have faced some pretty gnarly teams, with Slaughterhouse and Nomads being the guys on that list. We do have a tie for third place right now. No one in fourth. With they actually just win one right here. They will be able to be tied for three as well. Yeah, they'll be the two wins. So really kind of in the middle of that pack there, but Visionary definitely looking to get themselves out of this donut hole. Not the way you want to start your season, but you know what? We still have some time for them to get going. The big question is, will they be able to do just that?
That's absolutely certain. We're still waiting on one member of Visionary to get in the lobby. Then we'll be able to start on that very first map of Clubhouse. And I do think overall, Visionary, they haven't had the best season, but I think if they do start facing teams of their caliber, we'll see them start to climb out of that hole. I think this could be a close one today overall. But honestly, if I were to give it predictions in the series, Granny Frost, they have just kind of looked better the entire season. They're the one I'm
Mhm.
giving the edge towards in this matchup. But I think we could see a third map. We could go to Oregon. It's entirely possible.
Absolutely. I think it is possible indeed. It'll be fun as it is Clubhouse up first. That's Visionary's choice. And Visionary will actually be attacking on all three maps if we do go to all three maps. So it'll be Granny Frost having the some would say advantageous position of starting on defense, which oftentimes is the case. Clubhouse Cafe in Oregon, all pretty defender sided when it comes down to it. So that could be a little bit of an interesting choice when Visionary chose to attack when they had the choice to defend on Cafe. We'll see that comes back to bite them, but I mean, Visionary definitely looking for a chance to prove something, while Granny Frost as well looking for that chance to move up. It's going to be a great matchup, and finally everybody's in here. We got Tricks and Tricky, and that's going to be real fun. Oh no.
Might see a lot of crazy plays coming out from those two. Some maybe
Hmm.
some maybe some rat angles, some bullet hole peaks. Who knows? Just you could expect anything from the trickster duo, I suppose.
Oh man, I'm excited for that. So other guys on the team, we have Abadu for Visionary, Panic, Omega Savage, Badjor, and then on Granny Frost, we just lost somebody. But we do have Stole, Lemmy Killmeister, or Killmister, Mouse with a whole bunch of numbers, and then, as we said, Tricks, lol lol.
Ah, there we go. I got scared for a second. Can you imagine if he just left and we were just stuck here for like another 15 minutes? Just like, well, we don't know where he went. Might be doing an extensive T hunt measure before the match again, but who knows? But thankfully, he is back. And we're going to get right into that matchup. As you said, Granny Frost starting on the defense for every single match. So we have to hope that Visionary has some proper attacks up their sleeve in order to make this half work. We've seen teams on the attacking side of either their map pick or another map pick end up losing some crucial rounds early on and costing them the map as a result. We've seen it in Rivals and Contenders, but now we'll have to see if we see it in Champions this week. The very first ban will come out from Granny Frost, and what do you know? It's everyone's favorite British operator. He throws those EMP grenades, but he won't be throwing anything this match. Thatcher's taken off the board, and nobody's really surprised on Clubhouse for that.
Absolutely not, man. Poor Thatcher always be getting sidelined. Let's see who the second ban will be.
I'd imagine probably a Maverick or a Hard Breacher. It's Clubhouse. Honestly, I'm gonna go Maverick.
I would say Maverick too. That is the pick
What do you
right there.
know?
Maverick. Goodbye, good sir. Then on defense, I think Kite is going to get sidelined just because it'll be almost impossible to get through those hatches without a Thatcher or Maverick. If you got Kite on the board, going to be very tough. So I'm expected to see the Kite, and then it's kind of a toss-up between Mira, Echo, and a Maestro. Sometimes Maestro gets sidelined. We'll see, but it will be Echo. So let's see if the Kite is going to come out for this last pick, or will they leave him up and basically block out the entirety of basement from above? Could be pretty crazy. Okay, good. Kite is gone.
Now, with Echo being taken off the board, not saying that's a bad ban. That certainly is a good ban. Yokais are extremely powerful, especially when it's later on in the dying seconds of the round and the plant's getting put down. Everyone knows you get stunned by a yokai, you get taken off the plant. And that has, in many cases, famous example would be Reciprocity versus BDS at the Invitational, swung entire series in a team's favor. But what importantly is what has not been banned. That means Jaeger and Wamai will both be in play. And there you can see he's getting brought out immediately, or that duo is getting brought out immediately on Basement. Normally we see their play be the most on that cash bomb site, but instead Basement will be the first one where we see the projectile catching duo get brought out alongside that Maestro you talked about. He'll have those bubbles that are very hard to be destroyed and burn so much utility. And also importantly on the attack, we have a Kali coming out, not something you often see on Clubhouse.
You know, I am excited to see a little bit more Kali play, as she can be very, very deadly. You have the ability to at least just insta-down somebody with a single shot, pretty much, unless you get unlucky. So I'm excited to see the sniper chick come on out, and she's also kind of that bootleg Thatcher that you can bring in. So a very, very interesting pick indeed, but I hope it'll work out for Badger on that. Omega Savage taking in the lovely G8 wielding IQ, and that should be a pretty useful tool as well with the goo mines out. But the problem is a lot of people, I feel like, bring in IQ just for her gun.
Yeah.
They just love that GA because it do indeed go Burt.
I don't remember exactly who said it, but it might have been easily. I just usually attribute anything like this to him. Some people pick IQ for the gadget, but most people pick her just to run the G8. And that's pretty much, that's what we see some people do sometimes. We see that G8 be used incredibly effectively, but they end up being very scant with their use of her gadget. And with a Legion in play, she's going to be especially useful, especially if they make some aggressive plays down main stairs or in blue. But with that Kali being brought out, I imagine that Visionary likely expected this to be a CC hold, as that's the main bomb site that ends up coming out first. And there we go, Badger, the Kali, just as I'm talking about her, will be the first one to get a kill in this series onto the Legion, so that IQ won't have to worry about so many goo mines on the floor, and you can just focus on using that G8 for kills once you take out those couple of goo mines on the floor. Panic has made his entry through bathroom into main lobby, and he's got completely clear skies in front of him. Nobody really playing upstairs. Jaeger and Wamai, and all the other defenders likely playing downstairs. And that one roamer taken out on that aggressive play by Lemmy, that's going to be a big problem for Granny going into this final 2 minutes.
Yeah, that definitely will be a little bit of a thorn in the side of Granny Frost. As, you know, the two operators you really don't want to lose right at the beginning of a round are going to be Wamai and Legion, and Legion being gone is not great. Maestro's another good one to pick up, but he's a little bit tougher. Impact Trick going to come out. It will deny the first exothermic charge. That won't be happening. They do have a couple of different hard breachers, and with only two of those lovely little Pokeballs, they're going to be hard-pressed to use, well, to shut them down of every dime, as now it'll be the X-Kairos used to try to get something going, as Reb now is now out of his lovely impact nades. So they are going to be able to open that up most likely, but it's Mouse with the first frag onto Badger. Down goes the sniper chick. Bye-bye Kali. And look at the HP on Panic right now. Very, very low. The man's looking for a team. It looks like he has found one indeed.
Panic being on low HP, he's drowning out dirt right now, and if he's still trying to make an entry inside of dirt, it's going to be extremely dangerous. He'll need some backup. He'll likely get refragged out, and there will be Tricky just behind him. Throw a flashbang down, and the mouse will get scared. He'll rotate out. Throw a magnet for troubles, and ooh, it looks like he might go for a prone angle. Maybe try to surprise the attackers, but again, Panic is in such a precarious position with how low of HP he's on. But also Visionary, that was a complete failure of coverage in that kitchen hatch. You saw some were trying to shoot the Maestro, but in the end, it just wasn't enough. Gunfights and bullets being exchanged on both sides, but no HP taken down either way. Mouse is just trying to get a pre-fire, and it won't matter. Both on low HP now. They'll get one kill for their troubles, but that entry through dirt is in even more of a tough spot now that Tricky's been put on low HP as well. Reb now will be on his Maestro cam back there, but yeah, this is a tough spot.
I mean, that Maestro cam could essentially just kill both of these guys. Panic and Tricky looking a little bit rougher for wear as flashes will come out. They're trying to get in with just 15 seconds left. They do need to, and down goes Reb now, but a nice refrag. Tricky finds one, Stoll finds another. Double kill for Trix as it's all upon Abadu. The lone Thermite will not have it in him. And defenders, Granny Frost win round one. What a absolute send for those final dying seconds, and it absolutely did not go the way that they wanted to. Visionary already not able to crack into a pretty defendable area, so you can't blame them too much. We'll see how they do when the sides eventually switch. But now onto CCTV, they definitely want to win at least a couple of these sites, most likely looking for Gym Bedroom if they want to go for that classic 4-2 split. But off to a good start is Granny Frost. We'll see if they can continue, as we will indeed see CCTV cash.
Absolutely. And Lemmy getting taken out first last round, he was their second set of impacts, meant that impact tricking that kitchen hatch was solely left to the job of Reb now on the Maestro. And normally you might see someone crumble under that amount of pressure. I mean, there were 3 people all inside of kitchen trying to take him out and make his job that much harder, but he succeeded. And that kitchen hatch taking so long to get open, or even failing to get open, period, forced Visionary to rotate all the way through dirt. And as you saw, they got 1 kill, but you've got 2 of your main entries on low HP, and they're half of your entire push. Once they get taken out, you pretty much have nothing unless you've got 2 amazing gunners on that other half. And it was Granny Frost entire round. They had a great setup. They stuck to it, even when the man count started looking grim, and you got to give it to them. Great job. And going on to this second round, I'm sure we might see that same defensive and strong side play coming out. The Callie's being brought out once more by Badger. We might see him play over outside of Heaven, where we normally see a Callie play on CCTV or on this bomb site. But most people don't even bring a Callie for Clubhouse all that much. We might see them, well, usually we see teams clear out stock from below, Zofia charge below the wall, try and drive whether there's bandit batteries, or as in the case of Lemmy, possibly someone who's actively bandit tricking out. And that's solely they rely on. They bring somebody else in the place of Callie, maybe someone with frags like Sledge. But hey, maybe Badger, they're just used to Thatcher and they desperately need that substitute.
It will be interesting to see if she gets a lot of use out of her gadget. The Lance can definitely come in clutch when it's needed, but the tricking of Lemmy might cause problems, which is why, like you said, a lot of teams do send their Zofia down to pressure that man, get a little bit of air coming through the floor, and that definitely makes it a little bit tougher to trick. Is looking for that pesky Claymore. Will be Reb now taking it down as getting ready for a little bit of a schnipe, perhaps. Nice little interesting glitch there. I like that.
It's Siege. It happens. You gotta expect it at this point. Callie will send her Lance into the wall, and Lemmy will continue that odd animation for bandit tricking. He'll manage to get one. Magnet will catch out another flashbang, I suppose. Won't be blinded, but he can still actively bandit trick. And there we go. Wall will manage to get open, and despite the bandit's active and most persistent efforts, the wall will get opened despite that.
Yeah, this is a nice start for Visionary. You do want to see that wall get open before the halfway mark hits. And Badger now taking a little bit of a fight here. Everybody on the team of Granny Frost full HP, while only Badger has taken a little bit of damage under 75, but that could change quickly as look who it is. It's Mouse looking for something. He'll back off, feeling the pressure as Zofia was ready for someone to charge on out. But as time begins to tick down, they need to think about how they're going to make this execute. You do see the Ash coming in from over by a Bedroom and Jim, looking for a little bit of a flank here as well with Tricky. You've seen these two do a pretty good job. They absolutely got shredded up to very low HP back in the days of the dirt push, but they were successful, and we'll see if they're going to be successful with quite a significant amount of HP left on the board for them.
That's true. It certainly will even the odds for the entries. Going into the final 45 seconds, Badger being taken out. Not exactly the best thing you need for your attack. That looked like to be the main coverage from outside of plat wall, and the Callie being taken down. She's already done her job, but I guess Panic will try to fulfill that role. He jumps in straight through server window. He manages to down one as Omega takes out one more. He'll pick out another one for his favor as Reb now taken down. It's just Lemmy and Trix left in the 2v4. And Trix, last time we saw him, he was off-site, and he's made the rotate up red stairs. Lemmy going for another one. Trix takes out another one for good measure, but now Lemmy is the only one solely pushing in garage. The Ash just saw him, and he won't even try to fight back. Panic picks up a triple and a quad to finish out the round, and a great play by the Ash. Almost a singular effort to clear out that bomb site.
That looked absolutely fantastic for the guys on Visionary. Beautiful job to be able to get in there and do a whole lot of damage. Like you said, it was almost the Panic show there. The Ash was absolutely going off, and it paid them in dividends. But look, they want to go back to CCTV. And the way they got beat, this might be a mistake. This could give Visionary an easy site win if they are not careful. They need to be able to have a different kind of strategy. They can't allow themselves to get just ran over. And you do see the Callie not being brought. It'll be a Yana instead, which is very exciting unless they switch it off again. Okay, good. Yana coming out. You don't see too much Yana, but I think she has a cool kit. You got extra nades. You got the G36C if you want it. And then you've got your lovely Gemini who can run around, do a little bit of recon. However, the mute will slow that down a bit.
Certainly. I don't know if Yana was the adjustment that needed to be made. Now, they did end up winning the round, so it's not like Visionary, they're down 2-0 right now, and their attack was a complete failure. It took Panic getting a 4K, but hey, a round win is a round win. You can't flame them too much for that, but trading out the Zofia for the Yana, well, they traded out a few different operators. Instead of the Callie, they brought the Sledge. Instead of the Zofia, they've opted to go for that Yana pick. There's a Jaeger and a Wamai on the board. You need a lot of utility to clear those out. They do have 9 flashbangs total, but when it comes to this meta run right now, you need those 2 Ash charges. You need those 2 concussions to burn those ADSs and magnets properly, because there's 11 projectiles total. And sure, you have 4 frag grenades, but you don't have that much. And I don't think they, try to do some math real quick, they have exactly enough to burn all of those projectiles. But if you even miss one, or we might see maybe some ADS tricking come off the board, any one variable doesn't go your direction, and then you're screwed all because you wanted an extra set of frags and went Yana in the prep phase.
Another thing is without the Zofia, it'll be a lot easier for me to kind of stay and do some of that work. You could be naded from below, but nades from below are very tricky to time. We'll see if that will be the case, because Zofia definitely a great operator for getting those pesky Bandit charges and Bandit himself off of that location. So could be a little bit more difficult for them to hop in here. Some might say a little bit more tricky, but I would never do that. And we'll see how this round 3 attack goes. Looking to come in from that opposite window, trying to pressure them out, make sure they can make it all as much easier to get on through. Already trying to burn through these ADSs and magnets. Going to be a tough one to do so, as there seems to be an unlimited supply of just how much they can throw down. Nade's going to go out, but it'll be sucked in as well, as Lemmy still standing. A little bit of pressure on him, and he won't be able to have time to get that open. That is unfortunate. Already, Lemmy and Mouse both find a kill. So it's down to a 3v5 situation. The wall is open, but do you have the manpower to push through that wall is the question they need now to answer.
And there you go. Half of your frag grenades off the board. One of them got caught by the magnet. The other one pushed Lemmy and did a little bit of damage, but he ended up rotating and just taking out the Ash. Despite that, now he will continue to reside in stock as he's rotated down. You can't Bandit trick a wall that's open, but this is going to be a thorn in the attacker's side. If they're not paying attention, which it looks like the Sledge just might, Bandit could rotate up and they'll run right into each other. Ooh, Omega will lose quite a bit of health, but he manages to pull away with the engagement. But again, the theme of this match, but at what cost? You already lost 2 people trying to drive the Bandit off the wall initially, and while you did get a refrag, you only have a minute left. 1 C4 off the board will be important for Visionary going into this final minute. Trix playing inside of construction is right next to the Hibana. He'll get 1 kill and a second for his troubles. And now Omega, the one who took out the Bandit, the only one who got a kill on Visionary's side, he's all alone in a 1v4.
1v4 with just about 20 4 HP, too. The man is not looking very healthy at all. That said, Trick's looking very grim on the side of HP, but you still got Stole, Mouse, and Reb now to cover you up. So this definitely doesn't look to go the way of Visionary. I think Granny Frost did a good job being able to, even though we lost the wall, you're able to get the impactful frags that just slowed Visionary down enough to where they couldn't have that big of an impact. However, I'm saying this, who knows? Omega might just go off and get the ace here for the clutch, but you know, you have to be skeptical sometimes, and I definitely am skeptical with 20 seconds left if he can pick up all 4 kills.
I mean, they're just kind of aggressively peeking him. There he goes. He picks up 1. If they keep picking the wall, he'll be able to pad his stats. But as you said, they're just taking this time for a tactical timeout. There's no way feasibly he could win this round. Oh, that was unnecessary. I mean, the round's already over. You don't gotta hurt your teammate. That's just sad. And there he goes. He gets 1 more. You got a 3K. Pad your stats. No deaths. Omega. His team might have lost the round, but he certainly comes away the victor in terms of the end game rating.
Oh, absolutely, man. That's what it's all about. It doesn't matter if your team never gets a win. As long as you have a nice KD, you're golden, man. That's what we're looking for here. So, to the to church. They flashed the old gym bedroom, the tertiary site, but we will try to go to Church Arsenal once again, it looks like, and see what they can do. They have brought Wamai quite a few times, and he's definitely been a nice and helpful man to be out. And Jaeger, of course, is going to be a pick always. Legion. Last time we saw Legion, he got absolutely shredded by the Kali that now seems to have disappeared from the roster of Visionary. Let's see if they're going to 6-pick Tour, or maybe they've just abandoned. No, it looks like they will not. So, bye, Kali.
I think getting rid of that Kali's solid. I mean, she did have a use for CCTV getting open that plat wall, but on basement, there's just, in terms of her gadgetry, now that the Kayat is banned, not much use for it. And this isn't exactly the site that's known for its long angles. I mean, sure, you've got one all the way back from Oil Pit that you can see if anybody rotates blue, but again, not much you can do with that sniper since that is her only primary weapon. Instead, they'll be bringing the IQ, and that Zofia will get brought back in the lineup, and Ashe not being brought either. She used to just be kind of this, Ashe Jaeger main joke of an operator, but ever since Wamai Jaeger got introduced, she has 3 flashbangs and 2 Ashe charges. Both of those are extremely necessary for clearing out this utility, and that might be another problem that Visionary end up facing on this attack. Sure, you have an IQ that can spot those Legion mines, and that's certainly helpful, but you have less utility in your back pocket to clear out those Wamais, to clear out those ADSs, and you're the exact same problem that you were last round.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting, man. The new sponge meta, I guess, is not new anymore, but the sponge meta is definitely going to be a problem for Visionary if they do not adjust, and they very well could be punished for it. We do see the actual gadget of IQ, so shout out to Badger for using it. Very, very nice to see this. I'm not used to it. I mean, I always just see the G8. It's very odd when you see the Commando instead. I mean, I'm sure there's preference, but the G8 just seems to be the guaranteed pick. It always. As we will see a little bit of soft destruction coming out, trying to pressure these guys. As you do have Lemmy still alive. You've got Reb now still alive. Everybody's still alive. Impact's ready to go. And the potential shots coming from the floor or through the ceiling. We'll see who's going to be able to get who, as those do go both ways. It's not a mirror window here. They can definitely see it too.
Some shots in the Maestro will land, but he'll get away only with an inkling of HP taken away from him. And both Lemmy and Reb now are still in position to impact trick, albeit it's very risky with all the holes opened in the ceiling. And another risky position is the Wamai inside of dirt. The wall has been opened, but it doesn't even matter. He gets the kill on the IQ before I can even talk about the risk he's facing. And he'll just sit there undaunted with the wall open. G8 be damned. Don't even have to worry about it. Impact tricking will fly out from Lemmy. He'll do the exact same quality of job we expected from Reb now last time. And Reb now will fill in as well. The Legion will end up getting taken out, but you're still keeping the hatch closed, but it won't matter. You're out of impact tricks, and your one last one just got taken out. Trix takes out Tricky, the Hibana, but again, she has already opened the kitchen hatch. She's done her job, but with a minute left, Visionary find themselves at a man disadvantage. In order to get that execute down, you need everybody you can. They still have plenty of utility, both Sophia's concussions and impact nades, and likely 2 of Omega's frag grenades on top of that. And with Abadu using both of his exothermics, He's going to be a great person to watch flanks. Oh, speaking of flanks, Trix is currently residing inside of stock, could go for a run out. We see this aggressive play sometimes, and if Visionary aren't paying close enough attention, they're going to lose some bodies to it. And there we go. Rotates down outside that kitchen hallway. Nobody's watching the door. Oh, but it's not Jaeger to pick up a kill. It's the Wamai, and he won't even get one. Abadu takes out Trix, but it's only 20 seconds left.
Yeah, this is when you see those epic yeets through the ceiling, and they usually don't work out, but it just might. As Abadu picks up a double kill, taking down the mouse. Now at a 2v2, you see Maestro ready for his cams, wanting to go get as many things done as he can. Gonna find the first shot onto Omega, and Stowe picks up the final as Granny Frost win yet another round. They're looking for the perfect rotation. They've got 2 out of 3. Now they just have to find that final site of Gym Bedroom, unless they want to go to bar stock and be crazy boys, which I doubt they will.
I doubt they do. And you really got to hand it to these people impact tricking. Despite all the holes in the ceiling, they managed to hold onto that kitchen hatch for such a long time, despite the odds they were facing. And it really just comes down to Granny Frost. They're holding their positions. They're not getting too aggressive and taking any gunfights they don't need to. Mouse did risk a lot getting into that engagement with the IQ, but hey, he ended up coming out on top. Can't give him too much flack for that. But you've won CCTV and you've won Basement. The only site you can go to now is Gym Bedroom, as you said. And despite the fact that this is the tertiary bomb site, that doesn't mean that it is a weak one. We still see defenders win this site quite often on Clubhouse, usually based off the standard hold of getting 1 or 2 roamers in construction and cash with a castle on the board. And we see Mouse bringing out that same operator. I don't see any reason why Granny Frost are in a disadvantage this round, and at this point, their momentum's been strong. I think this probably will go in their favor if Visionary don't make the adjustments necessary.
Yeah, it will be interesting. It almost seems like this site could potentially be better than CC, as CC just has a giant wall leading directly into site. Well, this has a giant wall leading directly close to site, a little bit better, but oftentimes CC is the stronger site, marginally indeed. We'll see how this defense goes. Like you said, most likely going to see a little bit of cash presence, and we might have, we don't have a bandit trying to trick that jacuzzi wall. We do have the mute coming out instead, and Zofia still off the board. I really don't see too many games without a Zofia. It's kind of interesting, as she's really quite a common pick, right up there with a Jaeger, it feels like.
IQ's one of those operators that you really, in order to bring her, you have to know that she's going to be useful. And honestly, in this case, while they don't have a Zofia, this is also the very first round that Granny Frost aren't bringing the Wamai. So she won't be as necessary. Zofia is always a good operator to bring. But when you brought that IQ, you've got a Valkyrie on the board with those 3 black eyes, and you also have Lemmy on the Vigil. Those are 2 things that IQ is very useful in tracking and trying to root out both of that utility. Lemmy roaming will likely be a major thorn in the side for the attackers. We already saw last time. Trix playing aggressive on that Jaeger, going for late flanks, and Lemmy has done the same on the Bandit when he was playing on CCTV in that second round, for example, and we'll likely see the exact same thing happen. Omega's already made his entry inside of Bathroom. Tricky will drone outside of Platwall, and what do you know? Lemmy's not roaming too far. He's the main one, and the only one, actually, sitting inside of Cash, wasting the attacker's time. And with that ERC, he's going to deny a major amount of intel to the attackers, and Tricky will deny a body on Trix. Take out Jaeger just at the bottom of red stairs, and this is a great foothold for Visionary to take in this round.
Yeah, this is so far so good, man. These 2 Trick guys have been going back and forth. I think it was Trix onto Tricky in a previous round, and now he'll get his revenge finally. They're going to come out, pressure Lemmy a little bit, but he won't be too bothered by it. Could be a little bit more by that one. Not in crazy amounts, though. Still above 75 HP, but he might be bothered by the sheer amount of people who are ready to push on into him. You got Badger ready to go. You got Omega looking for it, and Panic finds Stole. Things looking a little bit grim, but maybe not so much, as that was a great headshot, but Badger immediately takes down the Vigil of Lemmy. It's a 4v2 situation with Mouse and Reb now last guys standing for Granny Frost, and with just about 50 seconds, I would say Visionary definitely have the advantage. I mean, they still have time to work with, and as long as they can find... but Reb now trying to say, no, not so quickly are we going to be calling this one over. Omega says perhaps we are. Now it's a 3v1.
MPX and UMP certainly aren't the kind of guns you need in a clutch situation, and it won't do the work. Reb now got 1 kill, but it wasn't enough. Mouse found himself at a 1v3, and again, UMP, Castle stuck inside of Logi, attackers descending onto the bomb side. You aren't going to win that one in a million years. But hey, you're still up 1 round on Clubhouse defense, and you get to go back to one of your main bomb sites. Despite the fact that they have won basement twice, they can't go to it, so they'll have to make do with CCTV, a site they've won once and lost once. But that second time they played it, they did win, and they looked very strong doing so. And what do you know, that Wamai Jaeger combo would be brought out once more, and Badger 6-picking to the Capital. I think that is a good move. It's a bit risky with the Wamais. They'll have to be very careful with their utility, but I've had problems with Visionary's lineup on attack so far, and honestly, I think this is the best one we've seen so far.
Yeah, it will be interesting indeed, as Visionary have a good chance to catch on up, but Granny Frost heading back over to the lovely side of CCTV have one last chance to shut him down and get that nice 4-2 split. That'll give him a nice pad as we head on over to their attacking side. Visionary will take the defense after this final round of CCTV, and if they do end up winning that, it'll be a 3-3 split, which is a fantastic start for Visionary, and it'll put Granny Frost in definitely a little bit of a tougher position. I mean, 3-3, not too crazy, but when you're switching over to the attack after this, you want to have as much of a lead as possible to give you that extra buffer zone, make sure everything is going to allow for a couple mistakes, because on this map, mistakes are going to happen, and defense is going to be, most of the time, just a little bit stronger.
Certainly, Clubhouse is one of the more strat-focused maps and strat-heavy maps, and if you make a mistake in your strategy or in your execute, you're going to get punished for it. It's not like a map like Clubhouse or Consulate, where if your strategy messes up, you can still just frag out if necessary, because those maps are kind of built on that, especially Coastline. But with Clubhouse, it's not so focused on that fragging, but we're talking about that. Panic did get that 4K just by jumping in server window on that second round. So, hey, frags still come down to it on certain strat-heavy maps. Can't always be focused on strategy. Fragging pros will come through on some days. Mouse will resume his position on top of Garage Rafters on that Wamai, where he's played every single time they've been on CCTV. He's got 1 or 2 ADSs and likely a couple magnets to boot to protect him from Capitao, Zophias, and frag grenades coming out from Omega. 1 minute has passed, and the attackers haven't made much progress, except they have got an opening on that garage door. We'll see Badger likely put down a smoke bolt or a fire bolt to either A, drive out the Wamai, or B, cut off the rotate from CCTV through that window you can see right there, or the rotate hole they've likely made in the wall. And Omega, down below, he's got that set of frag grenades, but he'll be in basement watching to see if any defenders come up on exciting flanks. And while this might seem like an odd position, it's certainly something that isn't all that incorrect. Lemmy has shown to try and rotate through the basement before, and well, Trix is currently down there playing over by Moto. Tricky might have just gone down there as well, two attackers, to try and pinch out that Jaeger playing at the bottom of basement. He's wasting so much time. Visionary might be caught on the back foot.
Yeah, this isn't looking great. They don't have any map control, really, of where they need to be. Finally going to open that up, but with just a minute 10 to go, things are looking a little bit like we'll see a bit of a rush come out. The 20-second meta will definitely live up to its name here, as Hibana looks to open up into Garage a little bit more. You still have Mouse, everyone at full HP besides Lemmy, who's taken down to 50 after he tried desperately to hold on to his position. Tricking the wall will not be happening, and now the engagement comes. Mouse getting pressured by a whole lot of people. Gonna get tagged up quite a bit. Has to escape, but will he? No, he won't. Shot down by Abadu. Now in a 4v5 situation. Granny Frost on their back foot perhaps, but time running down. Abadu with a double kill. Tricky with another 5v2. Looking great to get some as Badger finds Trix. This is going the way of a flawless round, and Panic will secure it. What a phenomenal entry and finish. I mean, that was all within the final minute, and it happened so quickly. I don't think these guys on Granny Frost even knew what to do or how to react.
Visionary just collapsed before they did have a moment to react. You're not able to exactly mount a comeback if you're all dying in the same about 5 seconds of each other, and you're not exactly in a great position to get those refrags. It certainly looked grim for Visionary, as you said. They lacked a decent bit of map control, and they only got Plaid Wall open after 1 minute and 50 in the match. Most of the time when attackers are opening it up that late, it's pretty defender-sided at that point, especially with the man advantage that Granny Frost had. But as I said earlier, fragging prowess is just sometimes what ends up winning you the day, and in that case, that's exactly how Visionary won that round. They got the map control they needed a bit late, and they just started killing people at that point. Abadu with the great opening double kill on the Thermite made the way and paved it for Visionary to get that final round in their half. They'll be switching to the defense, where statistically, they do have a much easier time. And Granny Frost ending at 3-3, that's not the spot you want to be in on Clubhouse.
No, I mean, going 3-3 means that you have to match a 3-3 or better if you want to go to overtime or straight up win. Well, Visionary, all they're looking for is that pretty basic 4-2, and they win the entire map, which isn't crazy hard. They're going to be starting off on Gym, and if they win here, they'll be off to a great start, as they'll still have the potential of a win on Clubhouse, a win on Church Arsenal, and then CCTV. So it could easily go the way of Visionary, but we have yet to see Granny Frost on the attack this map. So I'm excited to see what they can do, how they're going to be able to go for the attacks here. Is look at the mutant toe into town. That poor wall is jammed all up.
I was getting worried for a second. We didn't see any reinforcements on that cache wall, but Omega will quell my fears, and he'll go to put the final 2 reinforcements on that cache defense. And one aspect Granny Frost had that it doesn't look like Visionary are carrying over was they put a castle on that cache doorway. Instead, we see one on construction window and likely in the standard spots on Gym. It'll instead be open for Visionary, but while Castle certainly wastes utility, it's not all that necessary. And speaking of necessary, Panic needed the bandit trick there, but there was just too much utility for him to get it off. Great play and coordination by Granny Frost in that attack. The Capital Firebolts going out perfectly timed with Badger. Not Badger. Sorry, I got my FBI operators mixed up. Reb now on the Thermite. Opening that wall means with only a minute in, they've already opened Jacuzzi Wall, and Panic is pushed back to main stairs, where normally we see someone get pushed back once Jacuzzi Wall gets opened. So now you've taken care of Jacuzzi Wall, but you also have to make sure you push Omega out of cache, and that's sometimes where we see teams end up falling.
It will be interesting. They did get that wall up nice and open early. Like you said, Trick's going to find Abadu, and that'll shut one of them down. It's a nice guy to take out. Nice little refrag, though, as Tricks does go down to Badger. Ooh, Badger with the double kill on the Reb now as well. Man, the guy's going off, but the Maestro down could spell a little bit of trouble. However, this is going to be a tough one for Stoll, Lemmy, and Mouse to get in on, as I mean, when the defenders have that man advantage, they can hold extra angles than you can come from, and that always doesn't end up well. But Mouse is going to say, hey, you looked the wrong way at just the wrong time, and take down Panic. Down goes the unsuccessful bandit tricker. Very unfortunate, as he did get pushed off by all that utility. Now with a 3v3 with just about a minute left, Granny Frost looking to find the execute, but angles are being held here quite savagely. You've got Tricky, Badger, and Omega still up, and this could go either way. As time continues to tick down, it'll become a 4th teammate to Visionary, really helping them and putting the pressure on Granny Frost. See a little bit of control come out as they're trying to move their way out of the bathroom. Kind of stuck there, but the man might be a little too deep in enemy territory. Tricky gonna find Stoll, takes down the Ash, and now not looking very good.
Certainly not. Stoll look like kind of in rank where someone's like, yo, I have sight, and it's like, okay, but like everyone's across the map. We can't do anything. Mouse will make it an entry, take down Tricky. He's getting the plant down, and the coverage just isn't there. Lemmy, he's prone, looking at absolutely nothing. He was looking inside a bedroom, but that's not where the push came from. And Badger rounds out the kill on the planter, and Visionary take the lead for, I think, the first time this match on a 4K by Badger, I believe.
Absolutely insane, man. Visionary definitely performing much better than we saw last week on their match with Valkyrie. So you can see perhaps a little bit of that different team and the nice little balanced gameplay we have here, as it's very close. Heading now downstairs to Church Arsenal, another tough site to break into, and losing on Gym does not bode well for the guys over on Granny Frost. They really would have liked to win that site. Let's see if that's going to cause problems for them, as we will see the Pulse come in. It's pretty crazy how popular the SAS and FBI operators are. We see them all the time. You've got Pulse, Ash, and Thermite, 3 to 4, just in this one lineup. It's crazy.
Well, all 4 of them are extremely powerful operators for the longest time, and still to this day, Thermite was a staple and necessity in the attacker's lineup. One of the most effective hard breachers. He certainly opens up the biggest holes in the wall till Maverick kind of started to take his spot a little bit with Maverick tricking, but he's still unparalleled in his terms of hard breach. Panic on the Pulse, he's basically one of the only operators that, well, has wall hacks. You can see them through walls, and with the C4 in his pocket as well, he's going to be a major pain for attackers trying to take kitchen control and open that kitchen hatch, which is something that Granny Frost on their defense did the exact same, albeit with impact tricking instead of C4 play coming out from the Pulse. And that might be exactly what Visionary are basing their defense off of. But the Pulse sitting inside of Church seems to be a bit of a different strategy. Maybe he'll rotate over. Badger will possibly take out a drone sitting under that chair. And yes, there we go. Pulse, it's called Pulse Spot for a reason, right? Exactly where he's standing and walking around. He'll be look on that heartbeat scanner, telling if anybody is walking into kitchen, and will likely see a C4 once they try to get that hatch.
Oh man, C4s from below can be some of the most detrimental kills to suffer from, because very rarely are they refraggable. You just get C4'd from below and you lose a man. Sometimes you lose many men, and that's even worse. I've seen some crazy C4 kills, so I'm excited. Always fun to see the C4, and it does put a lot of pressure onto that attacking team to make sure they're being nice and cautious as to where they're placing their little feetsies, because you never know who's just listening and watching above you or from below. And I mean, yeah, it's a single click of the button and you're dead or at least downed. The things are crazy. Those bricks do so much damage, and we'll see if that's going to be a big factor. Already a minute has passed as they're trying to get a little bit of that upstairs dominance, making sure they can have all the coverage they need. Still trying to make sure no one's going to be coming for them on the big roam. And already C4 goes off, won't be successful. Another C4, just misses. And that is, yeah, all the C4 off the board.
That's extremely unfortunate from Visionary to lose both of those C4s extremely early on in the round and not even to find a single iota of damage. That's going to be a major problem. Thankfully, Panic, he still has his heartbeat sensor, so it's not like he'll be entirely useless, but with holes being opened above and Kitchen Hatch being opened as well, he's going to be in an extremely dangerous spot, but that won't stop him from doing his job. He'll almost land some shots onto the Hibana playing above, but he'll be taken out just as he relays some final information. Rev now to get the opening kill onto that Pulse means that that information won't be relevant to the attackers anymore because they can't get it. Trix will get some shots fired from the mute, and he'll try to take him out, and yes, he will. Two members of Visionary, after the one that just got killed, are on extremely low HP, but Abadu, despite that, will take out one. Stoll manages to get the refrag. Evil Eyes off the board means you have extremely little in terms of intel to work with, and Rev now getting the plant, and Tricky the only one being alive. It's almost impossible for Visionary to end up winning this round, and an angle from Kitchen Hatch will seal the fate for Granny Frost. They'll stop the bleeding for a bit, but it's only a matter of time to see if they end up making this a continued streak.
So that's definitely a good start for them, though, as you need to be able to get the 3-3 to stay alive, and it's going to mean that they have to win another site at least, and then another after that. So it'll be very interesting. However, they could just go off and win the whole thing. And back to Church Arsenal, we had, once again, a questionable decision after they pretty heavy-handedly lost that round, but maybe with a little bit of adjustment, bringing in the alibi for the Pulse, I believe. We'll see if that's going to be 6-pick. And no, it'll be the Valkyrie coming out from the Legion. So a little bit of a change here. Got a lot of information to be given out. Valkyrie, and even Alibi can provide useful pings. We'll see if this is a switch they need. The IQ going to be a good counter to that 6-pick Valkyrie, as that's probably as good as a count you could ask for.
It certainly is. Stoll, he's shown to be a pretty solid fragger so far. He got a couple impactful frags last round. Not certainly the most showy on the team. That'd be Mao's and Trix, both with 8 kills to their name. And Mao's on the Hibana, no less. She's been kind of an entry fragger almost once she uses her X Kairos. That Type 89, despite the fact it's only got 21 bullets, it's one of the better guns in the game in terms of fire rate and just potential killing power. But no, as you said, IQ is probably one of the best counters for a Valk and Clubhouse. It's been in the map for so long, there's plenty of those tricky Valk cams. I'm sure everyone has at least one Coconut Brock Valk cam in their mind on Clubhouse.
They absolutely do. It's a must-have. I mean, extra information is just so important in the game of Siege, and to be able to take that important information out is even more so important, and that is why the Valkyrie can be so heavily countered by IQ. We do have a pretty hard setup, though. We've got the lovely Capitao coming out, as well as Zofia back on the board. Happy to see her. We've got Hibana and Thermite, so some pretty good hard breaching capabilities and choices, as it can be difficult to launch yourself through some of these hatches with impact tricking being as popular as it is.
Panic on this alibi is something that I'll be keeping, and I'm sure you will as well. We'll both be keeping our eyes on this match. Alibi is certainly an operator that has not been brought she's been brought very rarely. She's been in the game for almost 2 years. She actually came out with this clubhouse rework that we're currently playing on, but her utility isn't exactly stellar. When you shoot it, it does mark you for about 5 seconds, and she has a great gun in the MX4 Storm and impacts as well, but there's a reason she's not brought that often. It's because there are better options. I think the Pulse, despite the fact that Stoll is bringing an IQ, still would have been a great pick, and it wasn't even 6 picked off of to bring that alibi. It wasn't even a thought in Visionary's mind. C4s are always something you want, and without that C4, you're going to have a lot less pressure if you're the attack. I say that right as Badger gets one. That might have been from Moto, or was that in Kitchen? No, that was on main stairs, tossed all the way over that church wall to take out that IQ. Now she can't spot. If the Pulse was in play, can't spot them, but she also won't be able to spot those Valk cams either. Trick has used a C4 as well, and I'm not sure if it ended up getting a kill, but that means that the attackers going into this final minute won't have to worry about any more of those nitro cells.
That's going to be a lot of pressure off of them. I mean, nitro cells can be so scary to go up against, especially in the dying seconds of a round. You're trying to get your plant down, especially on, an upstairs floor, and you just get blown from below, and that's never fun. But they are at a man disadvantage, not a huge, but it could become larger unless Lemmy says bye-bye to Omega, now evening it out to a 4-4, but seconds are not going to be very many. Trix finds Tricky, and Badger finds Trix. Good grief, the refrags coming out as Mouse finds Badger. Back and forth, but Mouse is going to break it. Abadu goes down. It's looking good for Granny Frost. It's Panic. The lone alibi left all by her lonesome. Finds one. He's beautiful headshot on the Mouse. He's going to have to find 2 more. Plant has gone down, and look at the absolute angles that will be held. Trying to find the one who's gone up by Oil Pit, and now looking for the other operator. I believe the Thermite has fled to this side of the map. Going to be so difficult and impossible if Reb now is able to pick up the kill into Panic. Granny Frost, 2 in a row on Church. Definitely not what you want to see if you're Visionary. You got a lead. You were able to go 3-3 on the attack, and you might just squander that here if you're not careful.
Absolutely, and I don't think the alibi pick was exactly what Visionary needed going on to their defensive half. I mean, sure, MX4 Storm, great gun, and he got 1 kill in that 1v3 clutch, but there were better operators that you could have brought. You had a Mute, maybe if you wanted to bring a Mozzie. He doesn't have the Super Shorty anymore, but he still got great guns and a Nitro Cell and Intel Denial. And there were, again, just so many better operators they could have brought. Vigil, Mozzie, take a page out of Granny Frostbrook and bring a Legion if you want to play on those main stairs, as we saw Panic do for a very short bit in that round. Just think, Visionary, they're just not bringing necessary operators sometimes, or maybe not necessarily necessary, but they're not bringing the best operators they could be bringing for their respective lineups on both attack and defense. Going into CCTV, a site that they have not played yet, that's going to be crucial.
Something I do have to rag on these guys a little bit for is they're not doing synchronized reinforcing. Come on, that's the best part.
The coordination is just a 0 if that's not happening. If you're not coordinating your reinforcements so they're happening at the exact time, it's just forfeit the match at that point. There's no point.
Honestly, it's just so nice and satisfying to watch reinforcements go up at the same time. Big fan of the synchronization there, but you know what, whether they go up at the same time or not, they will be effective in slowing down the attacking side of Granny Frost. Look at this, we're bringing out a Monty. First time we'll see the shielded boy this map, I believe, and he's most likely going to be used to pressure on into the garage. Great at what he does, but if you shut him down, that is a huge pick, as no longer will the walking, living metal drone be around to give any more information and block any more bullets.
That is certainly true. Reb now will look to try and open the wall, waiting for the Ash below to try and drive the Bandit out of position, and yes, a great job by the Ash and great coordination. Platwall will get open barely 30 to 35 seconds into the round, and Badger will be put down to about 5 HP. And if you're Badger right now, you're going to be kicking yourself a bit. You have one job as Bandit on Platwall, and that's the Bandit trick. But when you have a coordinated attack like that coming out from Granny Frost, it's hard to do that job sometimes. So you do got to feel for him. And hey, he still has a C4. He's not going to be wanting to do any aggressive rotating, but he can still deny the plant. Mouse will be denying, well, a bit of room for the Wamai to move. He's pressuring him heavily. He can't shoot, and he'll have to watch as Omega lays down some fire onto his teammate outside garage door. Panic will rotate inside, playing inside a garage, and he'll just see somebody run past that garage door. And there we go. You see the ping is coming out from Mouse, relaying the information that the German operator has rotated in the garage to lend some support to his Wamai. And there, Panic on the back of Mao's not being able to do much to support his teammate will pick up the first kill on the Stole, trying to rotate through that garage door. And already this Montaigne play coming out from Granny Frost isn't working out the way it's meant to.
Yeah, Monty is a good operator when used in conjunction with different ops, but look at that, let me down. Not a great situation. Rip down will find Panic, and oh boy, Monty's getting in there. Trix will be able to take down Omega, and now they are finding themselves in an even man count. The health looking pretty even as well. Reb now not too healthy, neither is Badger at this point. And with a minute to go, Granny Frost do have a lot of time to work with. The big question is, Visionary, can you slow them down enough to make them kind of have an uneven and I guess unimpressible or unimpression. Oh gosh, what am I trying to say? Just have not exactly the best kind of execute they can have. Yeah. If you let them execute too early, it's gonna get tough because they'll be able to just have that perfect post-plant situation. But if you give them that pressure and really make it difficult for them, you'll have the advantage in those dying seconds.
That's true, and there still are Evil Eyes and a C4 on the board from Badger. Not sure if it has been used yet, but if it's still on the... Oh, it has been used. So that is one piece of post-plant denial, or pre-plant denial, taken off the board. And with Tricky out of Toxic Babes, this could be the exact thing that Granny Frost need. And with one more kill onto Badger, that will be the momentum they need. Plant has gone down. And sure, you've got two attackers at low HP, but it's a post-plant. You're supposed to win these statistically. Abatu will take out Reg now and try to put those odds back into his favor, but you have a Monty in a post-plant scenario. We've seen players that are just on the Monty alone win this, and with Trix getting all these kills outside on Platwall, 4 in total, it won't even matter if you have that Monty. Granny Frost on the back of that 4K, they move us to match point.
They do indeed. They have taken 3 rounds, 2 on Church, 1 on CTV, and the question is, can you crawl out of this, Visionary? You were able to get a 3-3 on that attacking half, as we really haven't seen the defender-sidedness of Clubhouse be too prominent so far. And now you're at risk of losing your own map pick. That is not the news you want to hear. Going to be a very, very big round. Back to Gym Bedroom. This was the first site they decided to go for when they had the switch. They won it. And now they're going to be looking to stay alive. They're going to have to win 2 rounds here in a row to take us to match point. Something that can be done, but with Jim and then Church, and then CCTV also lost 3 in a row. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do. They must have a better plan for one of these sites, or it will be basically map over. We're heading to Cafe if they are not careful.
That's exactly what they have to be, careful. They can't get too aggressive on these angles. They can't make any more mistakes. Or if they make some, they gotta cover them up as quickly as possible so Granny Frost doesn't exploit them. Jim is the only site Visionary has won, so going into this, they might be feeling a bit good about stretching it out to 6-5. And that's at least 1 round. A round win is certainly better than a round loss. I think everyone in the world can agree on that. And it could provide Visionary with some momentum and some hope to push this to overtime. It's the same setup in CCTV. You see all those reinforcements placed on Cash Wall. We'll likely see Panic. I believe he might have been on the Vigil last time, but my memory isn't too good. Don't have it to the exact that far back, but it worked out last time. Panic will be actively bandit tricking once more, and while he got pushed off, they did end up winning the round. So if they play this pretty much exactly the same and just adapt to what the attack does, I think Visionary have a good chance at pushing the 6-5.
Oh, absolutely, man. Those early picks as well have been really advantage. And that's something I'll talk about all the time is if you're not getting your refrags, you will be in a big problematic situation. Seems pretty like easy to say. Like, of course, you need to be able to get the refrags if you want to stay even on the man count. But the amount of times it does not happen, and you see teams get kills and not, get punished for them, it just burns them. It really does, and it puts them at that man disadvantage. And if they're unable to climb out of the hole, they're going to end up losing most of the time. It can be so difficult to come back from a big 2 to 3 man deficit that you really have to be able to set up those refrags. Teams that set up their refrags correctly and well are the teams that we see most of the time take dubs in a lot of different fights that they go into.
So already we're seeing a stark difference from Granny Frost's attack on Gym Bedroom, because last time, as I mentioned, with great coordination, they opened Jacuzzi Wall in about 40 seconds. It's still closed, and Panic, who is barely even actively bandit tricking, he stalled it out for 50 seconds longer, or if my math is correct, yes, I do believe 50 seconds longer than he did last time. So Visionary already are in a great position to win out this round. And there you go. You can see he's rotated down below, going to wait. If a plant goes down inside of Gym, he'll be able to C4 from below, and with 3 attackers stocked and standing outside of CC Balk, he won't even save it for the post plant. He'll just chuck it right out that window, and the Capital being taken down. That's a crucial operator for those executes. Now, as we'll get the refrag onto Omega, as Granny Frost open up bathroom wall, and Abadu will get 1 kill. He'll go for a wide swing, and he probably should not have. Reb now will get the refrag on the back of a very boneheaded play coming out from the Maestro. But with Panic still sitting on main stairs, the line of defense by Visionary is still drawn and in concrete, basically. It's going to be incredibly hard for Granny Frost to pull them out of these positions. They still have a Zofia, but I believe she's already used all of her concussions. And yes, she has. They don't have utility left. They don't have much in the way of flash bangs. They do still have 3 from Mount. So I line with repelled on main stairs. It's going to be a very key position to push out that bandit.
Oh my god. Right next to each other, man. Imagine if she just swung on in. Not going to be doing so, but with less than 20 seconds, they need to have some sort of a plan. Reb now takes down Badger. It's a nice kill. Now in a 3v2, but time is desperately running out. They need to be able to think of something quite quickly. But oftentimes in those dying seconds of just absolute aggression, they will make mistakes. Panic finds one, but not before the plant goes down. He'll be taken out by Trix, and now it's all upon Tricky with very low HP. Reb now as well, very low HP. Potentially 2 shots could end this and take Visionary a little bit closer to match point. But of course, 1 shot from almost any weapon will take Tricky down, and that is excluding the ability of headshots. C4 going to go out missing whatever he was hoping for. Trix is still going to stay alive, and not a lot of time. He's going to have to jump on the plant within about 5 seconds or so now. And that would almost certainly mean his death. So with that, Trix going to find the kill on a Tricky once again, and that will be all for map 1 of Clubhouse. Granny Frost win in a pretty phenomenal fashion. Great job on offense there. 7-4.
Trix didn't really have to style on him like that towards the very end. You saw that quick Pete, basically just couple shots toward the body, then he backed off. But hey, great plays overall. And Trix was the top fragger on that team by a mile. Not by a mile, but at the very least, quarter half mile. Top with 15 kills, the most in the lobby. And with Granny Frost taking that map pick from Visionary, you're not going to be feeling good if you're VSN right now, going onto what is essentially Granny Frost turf.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. We will take a short little bit of a break just to get everything set up for our next map of Cafe. So don't go too far. We'll be right back with some more Epic Siege for your enjoyment.
See you in a bit. And welcome back, everybody. We're here with map 2. It's going to be Cafe. Now, if you are just tuning in, Visionary, they picked Clubhouse and they lost it 7-4. So going into this, they're on hostile territory and maybe not something they're entirely comfortable with.
Yeah, this could be a big, interesting game. The good thing is about Cafe is, like a lot of us casters say, most teams in T3 are going to be comfortable with Villa, Cafe, and Clubhouse, but it's going to come down to who's more comfortable, I guess. I'm sure Visionary had their strats, but Granny Frost, they want to go to Cafe specifically, and that is where problems might arise for Visionary if they're not careful. We'll see Thatcher and Hibana banned out first for the offenders. Goodbye, Thatch. Goodbye, Hibana. That leaves the Maverick up to a little bit of work on those pesky walls, especially when you're defending Kitchen. He can trick quite well. First ban on defense going to be the Valkyrie. She caused a little bit of problems back in the days of Clubhouse, and she will no longer be seeing the light of day here.
Valkyrie's a very solid operator on Cafe. It's not her best map, but Valkyrie really doesn't have any bad maps, and Cafe is surely not one of those. Mira being the final ban rounded out. It's a comfort pick for North America. Mira, despite the fact that she can be extremely potent and change how teams play, many teams are beginning to figure out how you play around a Mira, so banning her out might not exactly be the best option that Granny Frost could have taken, but they are on the defense. They're the ones starting out with statistically what should be the advantage. Now on Clubhouse, it was kind of turned on its head. Instead of an attack, well, instead of a defender-sided game, it was even at the half, and then it was Granny Frost to run away with it on the attacking side. Maybe Cafe will be the same. We'll just have to see. And one thing we will see is the Maestro gets 6th picked to an Echo, and both are extremely powerful and frustrating intel ops. And despite the fact that one will be taken off the board, Granny Frost are making sure that Visionary, they're going to have to deal with the other one.
Oh, yeah. A lot of good ops here that you're going to like to see to the end. We are going to Kitchen first. I almost said Catchin for Kitchen and Cafe mixed together. But this is going to be their primary site. Usually it might be upstairs. Actually, in Cafe, I've seen all 3 sites been used as a primary. So there's really no rhyme or reason, it seems, to where you want to go. Just preference a lot of times. And downstairs and Kitchen can be very effective. You do see a pretty solid lineup. One that you might even see on the upstairs of Bar Cocktail. The Wamai is going to be such a key unit when they're trying to defend the piano room in a couple of rounds. But here in Cafe, it can be a little bit difficult for the attackers to get anything going, especially if you're able to push them out of Bakery well. So I'm going to be interested to see how Visionary go for the attack here. These two teams haven't been oh dang, man, the poor drone is just like
Mouse is having trouble
for his life.
Mouse has got the shakes or something.
Happens to the best of us, man. I always be missing my drones. I was saying these guys haven't been the craziest of aggressors, but I mean, I say that as Mouse is ready to just come out for a little bit of a walkout. Wanted to get the nice, cool, crisp air coming in.
Yeah, I mean, you know, gotta hand it to him. Aggression is always, it certainly makes for a fun match, but when you're running out like that and you're Wamai, a very useful operator who is meant and his purpose is to remain in the round for an extended period of time, we've seen teams get their Wamais taken out early. I believe it was a Disrupt match on Theme Park where a Wamai ran out and ended up getting killed, and it probably cost them the round. So if Mouse had been a bit more unlucky, the same thing would have happened, but he'll walk back inside and he'll continue charging up those magnets until he ends up dying. One thing that Visionary are bringing, by the way, are the Twitch, something I just noticed now, and something I didn't even consider or realize just because how little Twitch is even brought. She'll be bringing breach charges, and with that F2's increased recoil that was instituted a couple months back, it's certainly not the same operator that it used to be in her prime. You might encounter Trix, who's currently rotating up white stairs, but no, she'll hop over the banister and drop down into reading, and the Jaeger and the Twitch will just pass each other. Badger will back up the French operator to try and pinch out any roamers. Now the Trix is up top. He's been droned out, but there's nobody really to deal with him, at least coming from above or on that 3rd floor.
Yeah, Twitch has not really seen much usage recently, and it is nice to see some different ops.
Ooh.
Big engagement here, both of them under 25 HP, but the swing out will go the way of Trick. But not before Panic takes that F2 and absolutely finishes off Tricks with it. Nice even 4-4 so far as, man, these guys have been seeing action all the way upstairs, and it's a Kitchen defense. This is sure to be quite the matchup. A little bit of soft destruction goes down. It can be tough trying to go into the freezer as it oftentimes seems to be a little bit of a death trap. but it looks like that is what Visionary is setting up to do. 4-4 situation with Omega down under 25, under 10, I would say. The man has been severely tagged up, and all of this vertical pressure could cause issues for the big boys downstairs trying to hold the site down. The anchors, as we say.
Rebenow will let out one Toxic Babe to try to deny the drop down through Freezer Hatch or down White Stairs, where Panic is currently pushing down. That Nomad being taken out, that impact entirely depends on whether or not she used most or all of her air jabs. If she hadn't used any, then it would have been a great kill. But speaking of great kills, Panic gets 2 more. They basically lined up for him, and he's got a triple so far, and it's just Stolen Lemmy left. Badger will take out 1, and Lemmy, he'll get the refrag, but it's all alone in a 1v3. But this is a great spot. He's got the Yokais, but they have an IQ. They'll take out 1, and his other one is on the bottom of Red Stairs. He won't be able to deny that plant. It's solely reliant on that MP5 SD, and if he can land his shots, you'll just see someone between the bomb chassis, but he can't land the necessary shots. And now he's got to go for the diffuser, and he's got to kill 3 attackers in order to do it. Stuck inside of prep, he doesn't have a lot of room to maneuver. In a post plant, the attackers are able to hold so many angles, and with Badger on that G8, he's going to be absolutely lethal, but it won't be him to take him out. It'll be Omega on that M762 that Zofia has. And Visionary try to make a statement with this first round, but they still have a lot to prove.
They do indeed. I mean, they're going to have to prove on this map and then the next one if they want to be taken too seriously, as they are down 0-1 right now for the map count. For this, the round count, they're up 1-0. So we will head upstairs to Bar Cocktail, a very powerful site that will see a pretty similar lineup. We do have the Mute Maestro coming in alongside the Wamai, Jaeger, and Kaid, looking to get this going. Wamai is going to play a very, very essential part in making sure the attack is slowed down considerably. And Jaeger's going to be helping in that too. Like you said, both these operators, some great chemistry between the two. And it oftentimes can go the way of the defense simply because the utility is just going to get denied and you don't have enough to burn through it all.
Yeah, the defensive symmetry symmetry. Two SI words, I mixed them up. What I meant was defensive synergy that we've seen develop over the past year. We've seen Wamai Jaeger, Mute Mozzie, and really, despite the fact that, there's no Mute Maestro, it's not called that for the meta, they still gel extremely well together. Maestro is an intel op, and Stoll on the Mute, he's going to deny a plethora of intel and as many drones as he can with those Mute jammers. But one thing that Granny Frost has is that synergy, but Visionary is lacking it. They're opting to bring this Twitch, and in all honesty, I can't rationalize a reason why they would bring that Twitch. Sure, you might want to destroy some electronics, take out those ADSs, but with Mute jammers, it's going to make that much harder, and you're foregoing options like an Ashe, who can clear out those Wamais and those Jaegers, and while Hibana is banned, you could be bringing a Maverick, who is in play. He's got frag grenades, and it's a second hard breacher. But instead with the Twitch, you've got the shock drone, which can destroy gadgets, and you have some breach charges, but it's also the 3rd floor bomb site. I don't know why Visionary, maybe, I'm sure they have their reasons, but right now it's kind of hard to figure out why exactly they're sticking with this Twitch pick so hard.
Yeah, pretty interesting, especially I don't remember them showing us at all back on the days of Clubhouse. I don't think we saw a Twitch, so it is just kind of out of the blue here. Like, hello, we have a Twitch now. And
Twitch is an operator, and we're going to bring her because we want to.
And they did find success in that first round. They were able to win out, and you saw some great kills coming out from Panic. But as you move along and Granny Frost kind of adapts, that's oftentimes what you'll see is a couple of these first sites might be lost by the defense, but the second time they go around, oftentimes they're going to adapt. What a shot from Mouse. Takes down Omega Savage like that. The Wamai is very aggressive. You said it before, he's an operator you don't want to lose, but I mean, if he's winning these gunfights, you're not going to lose him at all, and that was a nice pick to have.
A nice pick to have, and an egregious mistake made by Visionary. As you can see, they have someone repelled on that west side that could have watched the Wamai rotate out from behind that shield and try and shoot the Zofia, but instead the coverage just wasn't there, and now he gets away with, murder, and that's exactly what he did. The Zofia being taken out. Since you're not bringing that Ashe, that's going to be your concussions and your only source of destruction at range, aside from those frag grenades, which Badger has just now used in their entirety. When going into a minute left, and you just now gained Christmas control and pushed the Wamai out, sure, you've opened not bathroom wall, you've opened freezer wall. You still have to push Stoll out of this position, and the SAS shotgun inside of bathroom is such a powerful position to play. If they're not careful, and since they don't have frag grenades, they're going to have to try and challenge him directly. And if they challenge him too close, which so often happens when you see a mute or you see a smoke inside of that bathroom, he's just going to pick you off as you charge one by one. Speaking of charge Abadu, he's just going to launch it straight into sight. He'll try to bait out a plant and try and bait some utility, but he'll rotate, and there he goes. He'll try to get the plant down. Badger will pick up one. He gets the kill onto the Wamai, and there you go. You tried to bait it out earlier, but Stoll, he knows exactly what you're doing. He'll get the kill on the planter. Tricky takes him out. Lemmy and Rev now pick up 2 more, and Tricky, he's all alone. He finds him in the exact same position, but on opposite sides that we saw last time. He's got to clutch a 1v3 on low HP, and you'll see one can't land the shots. And Granny Frost, they even it out 1-1.
Good showing there by Granny Frost. They were able to get some of those early essential picks, and what a nice shot with the old LPF or LFP. Can't remember. The old six shooter.
I think it's LFP.
Very, very nice. So here we go. It's round number 3, and this is going to be reading and fireplace. Reading dining. I think it was CDAPS who now coined the phrase reading and feeding, as we call it now. So they'll be heading here. This site can play out a lot like the site we just watched of Bar Cocktail, because a lot of times you will defend that 3rd floor pretty dang heavily, usually pushed back further in. You won't see a shield as so much at that pixel corner, rather a little bit back in the hallway most likely. We'll see how these guys set up, but definitely some big 3rd floor presence will be seen. And I'm excited for Visionary to get another chance to try to go in there and execute. Didn't go the way they wanted to. You know, they were trying to bait out a couple of C4s early. They didn't get to do it. C4 went up, blew up our main man Abadu, who's going for the plant. And from there, it just kind of fell apart to where it was just Tricky left alone in a 1v3 situation with not too much health left. And he just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, he couldn't. Good on Stoll. He exercised patience, he exercised caution, and he waited for Abadu, or maybe, for all we know, we don't know what's going through. Maybe he just got lucky. Maybe he just didn't even know the plant was going down, and by the time the call got relayed, Abadu had already rotated, and hey, he was just in the right place at the right time. But either way, that was the biggest impact kill of that round, getting that C4 kill on the planter. And as you said, we see teams so often on Reading Room Fireplace defend that upstairs, and this round will be no different. Stoll is devoting 2 castle barricades on this east cocktail side, one on cocktail double door, and one to hold off the door from heaven. Trix, he'll play all the way behind, and look, he's getting some prepped melee hits in the bottom right-hand corner to try and make it so that the next melee, once he stops, it'll break open instantly. Maybe to surprise the attackers if they're either A, breaking it open, or B, maybe Trix will try and surprise, break open the castle, get a peek onto Nubalk, who can say, we'll just have to see if it ends up being a factor going into this round. He's joined by 2 others up top, I believe Reb now on the mute, and Mouse on the Wamai. And with all that utility you've got upstairs, mute jammers, magnets, and ADSs, oh no, it's actually Stoll playing on those white stairs. Not the mute, but still, with those castle barricades and 3 bodies upstairs, it's going to take a lot from Visionary in terms of manpower, drones, and utility to clear these 3 operators out.
It really will. It is going to take a lot. They have abandoned the Twitch, bringing in, like you said, the Ash is a great option, and that's who will be making an appearance now. Panic. Switching back to the Ash, we've seen Panic do some great work on one of the rounds on CCTV back in the days of Clubhouse. Got a 4K, absolutely won it for his team brilliantly. But, I mean, Ash always isn't always, rather, going to be able to go out and get those lovely kills, but looking to do a little bit of damage, and it will do quite a significant amount to Rev now, down under 50 HP, as here we go looking for the big ol' execution already. Almost just ignoring the entire fact that there's, but what a C4, taking down Badger. That'll be the sledge dead and gone. Not the op you want to lose, especially if you're looking to dominate on that 3rd floor, get the control that you want. However, these guys are kind of looking to just go on in as Trix takes out Panic. I mean, yeah, this is looking a little bit rough for the attacking team. Rebno with a second, another from Rebno on the triple kill, looking for a big number, but Omega does deny Trix and will be able to deny the flawless round. Finds another for the double kill, looking for a triple, quad, and then ace to round it out. Let's see if Omega Savage can get it done. Definitely would be an Omega move, not beta at all. Alpha, in fact. Let's see if it's going to happen with just a few seconds left. The guys have most likely rotated downstairs, holding various angles, trying to make sure they've got everything covered, as Omega has the absolute world to go through. Not looking too great with just 20 seconds now.
He's got to cut through an entire army. And on that attack, Visionary, once they lost their sledge, they just looked kind of lost. They got one wall open on site, and they weren't able to do much more. Omega, he's doing a lot so far. He'll be put down to 1 HP, and he'll pick up one more kill. But we saw before when he was on the sledge on Clubhouse, he might just be wanting to pad out his stats. He'll be spotted. No, he'll actually get down with the kill. Not able to be finished off. But hey, he got a triple, and he didn't end up dying. That's some more stat padding for Omega. And while he won't win the round, he can at least come home with that.
Yeah, you know what? You got to take what you can. Good shot comes out, and Omega's going to take that compliment with a thank you, dude. And now Granny have taken the lead in 2-1. They're looking a lot better, but we're headed back to Kitchen. Kitchen was a site that they struggled on. They were unable to get the win, and it was a pretty nice victory for Visionary. They're able to come out pretty dang hard, swinging, and now they're looking for a second time. This time, no Twitch, but we'll see if Ash can still set up those big kills. It's going to be pretty interesting to see here. Could be the perfect rotation if they're able to win it out. That is what Granny Frost is now threatening, while Visionary looks to tie things back up with a 2-2 scoreline.
Now, Granny Frost getting the lead on the defense ended up being there, or Visionary's undoing last time. Visionary looked to be okay on their attacks on Clubhouse. They ended it 3-3. But once they got on the defense, they just weren't able to put those rounds together. And now we do have, as you said, we've completed site rotations, and we're going back to sites that we have already played. If Granny Frost continue this streak, they'll end it 4-2, and they could be just as strong on their attacks. And even if they end this 3-3 again, and they end up dropping one more site than they did previously, they're still in a great position to going into that second half. But again, I digress. That's in the future. Let's look at what's happening right now. On this Kitchen site, as he mentioned, Panic, he's not on the Twitch anymore. He got a 3K on Kitchen with that F2, but he'll be rotating to the Ash. That's a great pick. Flashbang's Ash charge is going to be much more useful to burn these Wamais and these ADSs. And instead of last time, where it seemed to be a top-down clear, it's shaping up to be one mainly focused on the horizontal so far.
Indeed. Already looking to move into prep here. Bakery control being taken very quickly. Guys still trying to set up and stuff. We've got guys ready to go for the side of Visionary, and man, this is some great control early on. They're going to be able to really pressure them. Mouse has been playing pretty aggressively for a while, and looks like the first will look to go down of the exothermic charges, trying to get stuff opened up. Lemmy playing out here in the coat room, hoping to find somebody in a disadvantageous position, as now the bakery wall looks to go open, and this is going to cause problems for Granny Frost if they're unable to really do something about this. That wall is big, and it allows a lot of airflow as well as people flow to come on through. Direct access into site alongside, you've got now Badger upstairs breaking the floor. This could go very poorly as a nade is prepared, ready to go in. Granny Frost have lost a lot of room, a lot of real estate. They've been forced back, but Reb now continues to fight, takes down Panic, as looks like the man advantage will go to Granny Frost, looking for a refrag with a potential nade. Will it happen? No, but it gets sucked away. Lemmy will survive for another day, but unfortunately it looks like the Goyo mine, or Goyo shield rather, the Falcon shield will be popped by that.
Unfortunate bit of collateral damage, and Visionary, who looked extremely strong on this attack so far, they're looking like they're starting to stall out. And well, speaking of stalling out, Stoll just kind of stands there as he gets completely demolished by Omega, and he picks up one more. Low HP won't even be a factor to this Sophia, and he'll take out two incredibly powerful operators. Stoll had a C4, and Lemmy with those yokais, they'll be completely silent for the rest of the round, only able to be providing intel, and won't be able to deny any plants. Trix picks up one more. He gets a late refrag, and they'll try and stop the bleeding for Granny Frost in this round. With Omega on low HP pushing, and the only one pushing through prep, if he gets killed, and he can be very easily, this is going to be it could prove to be the undoing for the attack. Mouse and Kochek could also prove to be that undoing. Nobody's droned him out so far. He rotated to take the position of the Echo, and Visionary might not have anticipated that tricky. He'll go for a quick peek, and he will end up getting the kill. The Wamai not able to be that quick. Grab now will get the refrag, and with Badger getting the plant down, it's just your low health Zofia on cover. But again, it still doesn't matter. He picks up one more, and Trix, you're above, but he's going to miss all the shots he needs to. And with the post-plant scenario, it's going to be hard for Trix to win this. It's not impossible, but it is extremely improbable. He's got to rotate back down. He'll jump out, get a kill on the sledge. That's exactly what you need. And this has gone from improbable to completely even. Omega, he's sitting outside that bakery door. Trix at full HP with that 416. He's only got about 15 seconds in order to make this work. He might have to go for the plant. Can't vault through. You've got to rotate around, and time is not on your side anymore. It's getting to the point he's going to have to stick it. 3 seconds left, and Omega, he placed so perfectly. It's a round for Visionary. Looked like it might have gone out of their favor, and even if Trix gets this kill, it won't matter. Visionary, they even it out 2-2.
Oh, and he picks up the 4K for himself. Omega absolutely went off. It seems like, once again, these teams just kind of go off and are able to find those big kills. What a great job, as now Visionary take back a round, and we're tied up once again on that lovely 2-2. But based on the past and what we've seen, we're gearing up to have that lovely and pretty reasonable 4-2 split. That's what it's looking like, unless they're able to win out a couple of these big rounds. I'll be interested to see, because we only have 2 left before the switches happen. So that will be intriguing to watch. We've got Badger switching on to the F2 wielding Twitch. They love her, man. I don't know why, Lynx, but they adore this woman.
You talked about in Clubhouse on IQ how some people, they don't play her for the gadget, they play her for the G8. I have a feeling this might be a similar situation. They're not playing Twitch for the shock drones, they're playing her for the F2. And even with that, even with that nerf recoil, still a great gun. Nobody will take that away from Twitch. But again, it's really, you're taking away a sledge with a set of frag grenades because you want to use the Twitch. It's just a curious move overall. And the sledge, I think, is inarguably an operator that is leagues ahead of where Twitch is, not only in this meta, but in any meta, really. And it's, for sure, Visionary, they've evened it 2-2 so far, but it's stuff like that and changes like that that are why they're having so much trouble on these other sites. Going into Cafe, a site that they lost pretty handily, they'll have to make some adjustments, one of which will be that coverage on that west side rappel. If you recall, Mouse behind that pixel shield just swung out and completely wasn't stopped at all from killing that Zofia. The coverage was, as I said earlier, non-existent. If they just round that out a little bit, they have the person who's repelled on that west side actually watch from the rappel on west side, then Visionary, they have a good shot at bringing this round, or at least making it closer than it was last time.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a good shot. And look at the kills on Omega Savage right now. The man has an 8.0 KD, which is definitely a good reason as to why these guys are doing so well right now. He picked up, what was it, a quad, I think, with the final kill being that Jaeger. I mean, it's a lot of weight on Omega, and I think he was the Zofia who was taken out by that swing on Wamai, unless they were switching operators around. So taking him down again early would be absolutely phenomenal for them. Round 5 with 8 kills is something to look at. Omega definitely trying to take Visionary to a map 3. As I mean, he has a chance here. If they can continue winning sites and taking a nice little lead, or even just a 3-3 again, they have that chance. But Omega already in that precarious situation. We do have a couple different angles held, this time by Panic, making sure nothing sneaky comes out from the Wamai. Wamai, in fact, will be pushed back. He's going to have to run away a little bit, leaving Stool alone in the bathroom. Like I said, a very powerful position with the shotgun as well as the SMG-11 ready to go at a moment's notice. The M590A1, a long name, but it's ready to go. Panic taking a bit of damage. He's under 50 HP, but the R4C says, hello, we're ready to go. And let's see if that will do anything for this team. About a minute 10 to go. And so far, we've taken some good control, but can they make the execute happen? Maybe. We'll see.
They've pushed the Wamai out of Pixel, but one thing they're sorely lacking right now is something to destroy those Kayad charges. Something you could use are those frag grenades that you opted to switch out for a Twitch. And now, since you're not really able to destroy those walls or open them because they're electrified, you're not going to be able to get through. And that's exactly what happened. Stoll with that shotgun. He takes out Panic because all they're able to do is take those gunfights, and Panic, he lost it. They'll make a quick rotate over to Christmas and Cigar. All four currently residing over there. Tricky will likely be watching flank behind that deployable shield to make sure Stoll or the Kaya doesn't come around and kill the attackers from behind. But Tricky, he isn't even watching it. Reb now, he's going up unspotted on red stairs, but no, there's an air jab there. Good play to put that there, and since they'll know he's there, they won't get killed from behind, but they only have 10 seconds left. Omega picks up one. Muse gets the refrag, and Larry gets it on top of that as well. Reb now down below. He picks up a C4 kill, and it's just Badger left in a 1v4. Make that a 1v3. He gets one, but he's not going to be able to get the plant down. Mouse rounds it off, and Granny Frost, on the back of, honestly, I would say some poor operator selection coming out from Visionary, they win that round.
A very nice job indeed, even with a couple of interesting choices with the Twitch coming out. It did seem to punish them a little bit as we now head to Reading Room. This will be our final defensive side for this half. We'll see if we go to overtime in the coming rounds, but this is the last chance for Visionary to try to get that 3-3, and the last chance for the guys on Granny Frost to secure the 4-2, putting themselves in a very nice position. So far, the only sites that they've really seen any big problems on have been Kitchen. Both sites win very handedly by the guys on Visionary, and usually thanks to one of the operators is going off. At first, it was Panic on the Twitch, getting a nice triple kill, and then it was the Zofia picking up a triple to just absolutely demolish, and then the quad finally at the end of the round that was kind of that impactless frag that wasn't really going to do much as time had already ran out, but it's on the stats like you said, and it's all about those good KDs, which is certainly the case for Omega, who's going 9-2 right now, dwarfing and eclipsing anybody else on his team. But Reb now, standing at 8, is looking to threaten him for the top spot on the leaderboard.
I'm glad you brought that up, because 9-2, that is a great stat line. No one will argue that, and no one will deny that. But what's the point of it all? He got a 3K and he got a 4K, but the positions he was in, some of those were kind of impactless frags. So you got the 4K on attack. That was a great job, and those were certainly impact frags. But that 3K, he was trying to clutch around that honestly was unclutchable. He almost pulled it out. But it's stuff like that that is the main problem for Visionary. You're getting all these kills, but you're having to try and bring the round back as a result. And sometimes it works, but sometimes in the case of that 3K, it doesn't. And while you have a great effort, the goal is to not even be in those positions to begin with. And also, since it is 9-2, you need to everyone needs to be pulling their weight. You can't solely rely on Omega putting up these absurd numbers only 5 rounds in and expect just one singular player with a couple drones behind him to win out the match for you. Everyone has to be doing their jobs. All the supports, they need to be opening their walls and droning in their entries properly. And they can't just be throwing their lives away and leaving 1 or 2 players to pick up the mess.
You're absolutely right, man. It is a team game at the end of the day, and just because it doesn't mean you're going to be able to secure multiple rounds in a row. Eventually, you're going to lose your ace in the hole, and that you're going to be in Problemville, and that's nowhere near where they want to be. Already some good position taken. They still need to push up a little bit more, as this is not a bar cocktail. They will not be holding so deep or so pushed forward on the 3rd floor. But again, these guys kind of like to go for that 2nd floor push as well, with Abadu already ready to pressure on in. It's right there in Pillars, expecting to blow up and head on into the lovely site of Reading Room. A lot of pressure being put on, and still 3rd floor control being very, very limitedly contested. Oh man, he walked right into that one. Good grief, Badger gonna punish Tricks for that. What a shot. Double kill as Badger takes down Stoll, but it's going to be a little refrag for Mouse as he takes down Omega Savage. And oh boy, down goes another. The boy's being pressured, but Abadu will find another. Badger takes down Mouse, and all of a sudden, it's a 4v1 for Lemmy. Not looking very winnable, but we've seen crazier things happen. Gonna swing out, take 1, take 2. He's in a winnable position now. In a 1v2 situation with 50 seconds on the clock, the plant will look to go down eventually. But Lemmy, can he pull this one out? Maestro is a great op to have. Let's see if he can do it. Plant will go down right now, and Lemmy doesn't look to be all the wiser to it, as this is going to put the pressure on him now.
Certainly is. It's a 1v2, but with 81 bullets and those evil eyes, it is doable, but it's just extremely hard to pull off. And you see Badger, he has the angle, but for some reason he's going to knife, maybe a bit of a fat finger, but he lets the Maestro get away, and surely the attackers will still be able to pull this out. That's one of those plays that could allow for Lemmy to possibly mount a comeback, but again, it's incredibly unlikely. And as you can see, he'll go for the impact, try to make the push through pillars. He'll try to get the long angle, but it's Badger to pull it off. Not an ace, but a 4K, I believe, for the Sledge. And Visionary end the half 3-3. We've already seen how this similar situation ended before on map 1.
We did indeed, man. And at the time that he had there, I don't even know speed massive Maestro could have made it over the diffuser in time had he picked up the 2 kills. It was getting a little bit sketchy, and Badger will admit that he knifed mid-fight. I used to do that a lot, man. I mount my knife button to my mouse, and sometimes I'll be like jumpy and I just hit it and I'm like, oh no, guess I'll lose that fight. So I feel his pain. But here we go. Sides are switching over. A good job from Visionary. 3-3 half, but will that be enough? We've seen the guys on Granny Frost excel on the offense, and they might just do that here. They are bringing the Gridlock over the Nomad. You see teams kind of have preference one or the other, and Gridlock can definitely do a good job at locking down certain areas, making it very difficult to traverse the map, and quite often that can be deadly to a team on defense. We'll see as we go to Bar Cocktail which of the ones it'll be, because it's a good chance for Visionary to step up and take the lead here. Granny Frost looking to close them out for the end of the series, but Visionary hoping to stay alive and take us to map 3 of Oregon.
Visionary will be different than their predecessors. The first map they'll go to is Cocktail. We don't normally see people go to Cocktail first all that often anymore. We see Kitchen come out or we see Reading come out, but Cocktail, it's one of those sites, it's been played for so long that even with the adjustments that were made to it, attacking teams, for the most part, know how you attack it. The basics are pretty much covered. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean they can still win it, or they'll win it with consistency, but it is this site that the attackers are statistically most likely to win. Visionary had a bit of trouble with that. They didn't win it a single time, but going on to their defense, we'll see if they can break that pattern, and maybe it'll just take a side switch in order for the luck to be in their favor. Panic bringing out the Ella is it's not a bad pick. We don't see Ella that often. Her Ella mines are still very good, and the Scorpion, despite its nerf to recoil, is still a bullet hose and can absolutely murder people who walk within its crosshairs. And playing below on New Balk and getting that very tight angle onto Skylight, we see usually maybe a Jaeger or the main entry on the team play. Might be able to see that Ella get some impactful frags, something that Panic will have to do if he wants to catch up to Omega, that's for certain.
Oh, absolutely, man. He's going to have a couple of big kills, but the Ella taken down, and all of a sudden, bye-bye goes your roamer, and bye-bye goes control of that cigar area. Now, Omega going to be holding this angle, a very, very tight angle indeed, a pixel angle, perhaps. He's going to be trying to make sure the pressure doesn't overwhelm him as they begin pouring into Piano Christmas. Some big throws are going to be burning out those ADSs and magnets. You know, you only have so much, and a nade will be able to go in, explode, and take down the shield eventually. Okay, shield is now down, and that is some good site control. However, with about a minute and 30 to go, Granny Frost need to be able to continue push in and find a couple of frags here, because you don't want to leave Visionary with people on the board who can absolutely change the course of a round. You've seen it before with Omega. You've seen it before with different teammates. Abadu, back in the days of the Clubhouse, definitely had some good rounds. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to get in there, and already a lot of map control. Like I said, going to get tough for Visionary to hold on if they are not careful.
Absolutely. Going into the final minute, the attack, they have the necessary map control. They've opened up Freezer Wall, and they're in a great position for an execute. It'll be harder now that Abadu has taken out Trix, the Zofia, and Omega, he gets a kill onto the Sledge. This is the exact kind of opening they mean. He picks up another headshot onto the person repelled on the window. Reb now, he gets a refrag, but the round quickly in the 20-second span, starting to lose grasp, or Granny Frost is starting to lose grasp on it, that is. Omega going for a prone peek, won't able to trick Stoll, and he won't get the pre-fire necessary. Stoll will get some more shots down into Abadu and downs the Maestro. But Tricky left in a 1v2 smoke. He's known as the clutch operator, but it doesn't matter this time. It doesn't matter what you're known for, you have to act on it. And Granny Frost, they act properly, catch the round before it gets lost from their hands, and they win their first round on this attacking half.
Good job there from Granny Frost. Definitely doing a whole lot of work to try to shut down the guys on Visionary. Back again to Bar Cocktail is the decision they go with. No, excuse me, I speak too soon. They'll switch it up to Kitchen. Kitchen was a site that really was a bit of a struggle for Granny Frost on defense. We'll see that's going to be a similar story as the guys in Visionary mount a defense here. Kitchen can fall victim to a lot of great vertical control from the attacking team, which is why we'll see this Sledge come out pretty dang scary. Boy from above. Zophie as well. Thermite going to be making a move in. Gridlock and Ash will be the lineup for this offensive attack on round number 8. Granny Frost looking to once again put these guys in a precarious position. If they get round 5, that means they're only 1 round away from match point and 2 away from ending the series. Visionary have to be very careful, try to catch up if they can, but can they? Is an entirely different question that we'll be looking to answer in the next coming minutes.
Absolutely. Well, Mine Jaeger will continue to be a presence on this map as Visionary will bring him, just like Granny Frost did, down to this bottom floor. Same with the Castle, Maestro, and Mute. I can't exactly remember if he was played on Granny Frost's defense, but they have played him. Looks like we're going to have a rehost getting called out by Granny Frost as one of their members is, well, they're no longer in the game. So we'll figure that out real quick. It might not be anything too major. Probably just a sound bug or somebody's game crashed. Either way, let's talk about this game so far going into it. Granny Frost, they've just won that attacking round. So I was about to ask, what do you think? How do you think that round's going to go?
Honestly, Granny Frost looking pretty strong. I think they do have the advantage up, but we've seen things from Visionary before. I mean, if we look at the past where it started off pretty similarly, Granny, once they won 1 on that defense or on that offense, they were able to win 4 more in a row and just shut them out. Visionary won on their first defensive round when they played on Clubhouse. Here, Granny already taken down one of the strongest bars or strongest sites in the game, being Bar Cocktail, and now it's going to be a tough fight for Visionary to take it back. I don't know if they can, because, I mean, honestly, they're just 2 sites away from losing it outright, and it's going to be a long, hard fight for them to bring it back. What are your thoughts on the issue, man? How do you think the remainder of this matchup is going to go?
That round, there looked to be some hope for Visionary, but again, it was on the back of Omega getting 2 or maybe 3 very impactful kills. He got one on that, I believe it's south side rappel, outside or next to the top of White Stairs, and he also got one on somebody rushing in through or Pixel. Now, he did manage to get a kill, but that shows that Visionary, they were able to put the attack on the back foot, and they're not just going to collapse when the pressure's on them, but again, it's on the back of that player of Omega. And you can't rely on a player to make those big plays to try and bring rounds in your favor. Everyone needs to step up. And from that round, even though it got close, Visionaries still look like they're just relying on their star player.
Very true, man. They are putting a lot of pressure on this poor man. And it's not looking too great if they can't be able to spread the weight evenly. If you're not distributing it well, it's going to be tough. And looks like we should be ready to go. We have all the bands in, I'm sure, and we have all the rounds prepared for a big return to the game. Let's see how this is going to go as we'll be heading back downstairs to Kitchen, probably. I think they're locked in at this point. Are they? I don't know sometimes how rehosts work.
Yes, I believe they are locked in on the site. I'm not entirely sure. We'll just have to see. But either way, since they've won Cocktail, they're going to be going to either, if it's not locked in, they will go to Kitchen, or they'll either go to Kitchen or they'll go to Reading. 2, again, very strong sites. But granted, they looked pretty strong on that attack, and they looked strong on their attacks on Clubhouse, where they faced those similar situations, going into those strong bomb sites that Visionary just weren't able to defend up to the standards necessary. Sure, you've got, the odds on your side when it comes to a defender-sided map, but that means you still have to show up and you have to actually carry and follow through on that. And Granny Frost, maybe they might lose a round or 2, but I think despite the fact that the odds are against them, they're looking strong on these attacks. And if it's Kitchen, if it's Reading, or if they're not locked in and they can change, I think Granny Frost, they're going to be the ones to pull it out.
It does seem that way. It looks like we're just going to have a little bit of time as we let someone go to the bathroom, I suppose. So we are going to just chill for a moment, and I'm honestly really excited to get back to this matchup. I think tonight's going to be a good night for Siege. We've got a matchup between Valkyrie and Powerhouse coming, and we are ready to go in. The R's have come out, and we're back into it. It's going to be a round number 8. Let's see who's going to be able to take it, as we have just switched over to the defensive side for Visionary. 3 maps they'll be starting on offense. If we go to all 3 maps, and this is their chance to make that comeback, downstairs to kitchen service they will be going. Looks like they're trying to get it happening here, but I just don't know if they can. We're talking about, one guy, Omega Savage, has been doing all the work compared to a team that's spread it out pretty evenly. A lot of these guys are capable of the frags that they need to get, and that can be a dangerous showing if Omega honestly goes down. It's going to be very tough for the remainder of the guys to win without him. Let's see if they can protect the Wamai and try to punish the guys coming in from Granny Frost.
That might be a strategic pick. We saw previously that when Omega is in those clutch situations, he is might not be able to win it out and, beat the clock and manage to get all the kills, but he's shown to put up a very good fight. He's gotten a 3K and a 4K in multiple rounds, and he showed up just as powerfully on the previous map at Clubhouse. So putting him on that Wamai could be a strategic move to make sure he has a role later on in the round, and he's not playing the role of, say, the Jaeger, who's usually aggressively off-site, taking those kills, wasting time and getting in the face of the attack, and trying and keep Savage on the back line, so when the defense from Visionary isn't up to par, he's able to try and bring it back in their favor, which is exactly what we saw on that cocktail round with the Wamai playing inside a bathroom. Going into this, we'll just have to see where Omega Savage is playing. We could see him play inside of Kochek or just play inside, throwing magnets wherever he wills it. And overall, with the lineup of the Echo and the Maestro, or not the Maestro, the Castle, I should say, and the Mute, their lineup is very solid, more solid than it was on attack, and I think they have the advantage going far into this round. The Visionary, they haven't looked good with the advantage previously, and Granny Frost have shown, despite that, to run away with it.
Yeah, this is going to be real interesting to see how Visionary goes for the big setup. Once again, it's all about punishing mistakes made by the other team, and Granny Frost has done a very, very good job of being able to take advantage of different happenings. Ready to go, as they are going to start from the 3rd floor again. It looks like they want to make sure everything is clear before they head on down. A pretty good idea. Kind of the same when you go to Clubhouse, you're attacking the basement. A lot of teams will spend that precious time making sure there's no big roamers upstairs trying to absolutely destroy your face. However, we have seen in some cases where teams are able to read into different strategies where they just straight up rush on in, specifically on Clubhouse. Those are always fun to watch, but this is Cafe instead. No time to be hung up in the past as we look for some things to happen. Stoll right now is the Ash, looking for some big kills. The stats unfortunately have resets, so we won't be able to keep track of exactly how many kills they had before, unless Lynx remembers them all, which I certainly do not. But,
I don't remember most of them either, so you're on your own on this one, Chief.
Oh no. So a nice little fresh start. We'll see how it goes since the rehost. I'm excited, man. This could be a great round for Granny Frost, or it could be a great round for Visionary. Either or.
They're looking strong so far. Soft destruction coming out by Mouse up above with that sledge. He's doing it in good time as well. With only a minute 15 remaining, he's already opening up all the holes necessary. He'll start on Fireplace, as you can see, and we could see some frag grenades rain down from above, but that is entirely dependent on if Granny Frost are able to clear out these ADSs and Wamais. Important to note is the soft wall that has been left at the bottom of white. There is currently a hole open in it. And you can see Omega Savage, he's playing that hole to see if anybody peeks it or takes an aggressive fight. And speaking of aggressive fight, Stoll gets right in Tricky's face, but he sprints and walks away in panic, puts some shots into his back, and there goes the Ash taken out. Ooh, Rebnow is going to leave the game as well, and that's one of the attackers who was still alive, and they've already used their rehost. That's going to be an extremely problematic addition to Granny Frost's round, and they're going to have to adjust to it. But Trex, he's just in the bomb site. Omega doesn't even know. He's prone in that Gordon Ramsay area, a team I used to team with, like to call it. But he's in those positions. He's in those clutch positions. He can get the kills necessary, and that's why they put him where he is. Badger will take out Trix, and it's all but over for the attack. That disconnect, it probably was the undoing for them that round.
Oh, absolutely, man. And has he been able to there? I sure hope so for the sake of Granny Frost, because, like you said, rehosts are already done. I mean, if he's not able to return, you're just going to be playing like that. What a shot from Omega. Poor guy just chilling.
Why was he
Oh my
prone there?
goodness.
What was he doing?
Yeah, I'm having a good time. Oh man. Okay, Rev now is back. So team back to full strength, but look at this. It's a 4-4 situation. Kitchen has gone the way of Visionary every single time it's been played. They just really like that site, apparently. They are digging it.
I suppose. And hey, Visionary got around. That's great. They're already exactly where they were last time, 4-4. But unfortunately, it was on the back of a disconnect from one of the players of Granny Frost. And as we talked with Omega, and you can't rely on making lightning strike multiple times, you can't rely on a player from your opposing team disconnecting every time in order to win rounds. Now, Rev now being taken out, their main hard breacher, that's a big blow to the attack. Those two exothermics being gone is extremely problematic. I'm not sure if he used all of them its entirety, but even if he used one and didn't use the other, that could have been the backbone of Granny Frost's strat taken off the board. And as you saw, they basically resulted to just one by one charging through Freezer through that soft wall down the hatch, and it didn't end up going in their favor. But Visionary, they do need to keep that in mind. We won that round, but it was another player disconnected. They're not going to play with a man down every single time in those situations. You still need to be careful. You can't be getting cocky. And since we're at 4-4, this is the exact spot Granny Frost took away at last time.
Yeah, this could be exactly like you said. This could be where they just big wins. Granny Frost, man, they're a team you don't want to mess with once they get rolling. And like you said, it was kind of a fluke there as they did lose Reb. Now they're just unable to get stuff happening. And at this point, Visionary are going to be hard pressed. If they can win a couple more rounds, they instead will be in that powerful position. But if not, they will give up a lot of ground to Granny Frost. This is going to be a really important round. I can feel it. This defense right here could spell defeat or victory for the teams for the remaining rounds. We'll see how it'll go. As right now, just trying to get information and get set up. You do see a hold on the top floor, but only two guys are manning. That's going to be Omega Savage and Panic upstairs, both very close to that cocktail site. We'll see if that's going to work out for them.
We will indeed. Mute and Pulse playing down below in train. We'll try and land a C4 kill onto the attackers above. And oh, one is playing and flirting with death right there. And he gets tantalizingly close, but he'll walk away all the way over towards New Balcony. And Tricky will just have to wait to blow that C4 another day. There is still one attacker currently inside of Christmas. So if Badger happens to see him walk over on his pulse scanner as he's, again, getting a little bit closer. Oh, he goes for C4. He's on the drone. And that's the thermite taken off the board. He got dealt with by a disconnect last time, and there'll be a C4 that spells the end of him this time. And Visionary, this might just be the exact opening they need to make a play in this round. Panic gets one more onto Mouse, the sledge, so no more soft destruction. And those are two key utility operators that you need on a reading room attack. No more soft destructions from above, and you can't use those exothermics to open reading Rawl. Now, three more attackers will try to push Omega and Panic out of those positions. But with only a minute remaining, they're going to have to pick and choose their engagements, and they're going to have to pick much more thoroughly as Omega takes down one. Panic, the Wamai and the Jaeger both getting 2 kills on this round, and it's just Stoll left in a 1v5. Omega has some health taken off of him, but the Ash has so much more to overcome. He'll try and get 1 kill, and he will, onto Panic, but there's still 4 more that he has to cut through, and it's Omega to seal his fate. And Visionary, they take the lead in what could be a comeback mounted, but they still have a couple more rounds to go through. But maybe we could be seeing map 3 tonight, Slay.
We very well could be, man. I mean, we do have JJ in the chat right now. Job coming just after this one, so I'm sure he's rooting for the guys on Granny Frost. But, I mean, Visionary putting up a case to be looked at. They are looking real good. And if they secure a 4-2, that'll be the victory for them. And right now they are on a potential 4-2 split. They've won one, or excuse me, lost one and won 2. They repeat that, they will have won the game. We're on the map. We'll be going to our final of Oregon. So at this point, Granny Frost really need to be able to catch and shut them down. We're headed back to Bar Cocktail. This is where they won previously, but they need to be able to continue after that. A lot of Granny fans in the chat, and I'm sure they would be definitely disappointed if these guys weren't able to shut Visionary down here. Let's see if it's going to happen.
Absolutely, but their fandom isn't misplaced. Granny Frost, especially on map 1, have shown they're able to get the job done in this matchup, but it's dependent on whether or not, or that continuing of success is dependent on whether or not they can stop the bleeding going into these later rounds. Visionary, they're now in the lead on Cafe defense, and they've gotten, well, last round they got the necessary pick. The round previous to the last one, it got kind of handed to them. But hey, if they keep making plays like that, with those calculated and coordinated plays with the C4s down from below. They don't have the exact same setup, but if they continue having that same path of coordination, then Visionary, they're in a great position to do what Granny did to them and win these final 3 rounds on defense.
It could be absolutely crazy to see them because they've struggled traditionally. I mean, last time on defense when they were in Clubhouse, really weren't able to get anything. Here, they've won 2 in a row. That momentum could potentially push them forward if Granny Frost is unable to answer back, and Lemmy will be able to answer back. Their top fragger of Omega is now dead, gone in the ground. Wamai off the board. One of the best operators you could take off immediately. That's a fantastic pick. No more magnets to be generated. As that's exactly what Granny Frost were looking for. They'll continue to try to make this move, but it's going to be instead the Jaeger looking to move up and hold that pixel angle that usually Lumai takes cover in. Could spell disaster for Visionary. Let's see if it will. 2 minutes to go, and not a terrible amount of control has been taken yet from Granny Frost, but they've definitely got a nice setup ready to go.
They do, and with those magnets taken out, Badger will already just relinquish control of Christmas. He's already moved back inside of Bathroom, because with those magnets, you're going to be so much easier to push out. Not as many projectiles you can catch if the person who generates half of your projectile denial is taken off the board immediately. And you do got to feel bad for the Wamai. It's not like he was getting too aggressive or making any plays he shouldn't. He was playing exactly where a Wamai is normally playing, but the gridlock, I'm not sure if it was repelled on the south side or the east side, but either way, he just got caught in unlucky positioning, and it was a great play from Lemmy. And now Granny Frost, they're the ones to take out that key utility operator. Badger still has a shield inside a Bathroom, and Abadu takes the head off of Trix the Zofia. A great shot to him all the way back on that east cocktail side over by Heaven. He's shown to get a couple of those, and despite the fact he's playing so far behind, he's able to get those frags necessary. Badger will get one, and Rev now on the rotate picks him up in exchange. And now with that Jaeger taken out, he already put down his ADSs, but that's still Badger taken out. He's shown to be pretty solid going into this matchup, and with Omega taken out as well, this is a true test to the other 3 members of Visionary and whether they can put up the numbers that the Ramai has been putting up this entire matchup. Now as Reb now and Lemmy will both all be over on Christmas side. And with 35 seconds left, they are in a great position to make this execute.
Yeah, they really are ready to go, and it could easily go the way of either going down. Rep to get the plant on. Smoke comes out. Looks like he missed a little bit, and that will be able to go down indeed. Rep now immediately taken out by Tricky, but in the post plant, this could be a little bit tough for Visionary. They're going to need to find some good kills on the Granny Frost guys, but you got Lemmy and Mouse ready to go. 30 seconds means you have about 23 of those to try to get in, ready for the diffuser. Tricky already moving up. They have a lot of control actually here, ready to push in. Lemmy gonna find one, but he'll be taken down immediately by Tricky. Tricky on the double kill. It's all gonna come down to Mouse with just seconds remaining. He's in a great position to easily shut them down. Picks up one. Yeah, this should go the way of Granny Frost. There's no chance for him to be able to stick that defuse. Even if he gets the kill here, and he won't, Mouse shuts him down, and Granny Frost moves even further.
Great recovery and execute made by Granny Frost. Rev now sticking the plant was absolutely what they needed, and that smoke grenade that was tossed all the way from back white that overshot the planter, that's just one of those plays that you're going to be kicking yourself if you're on Visionary. If you had just been a couple centimeters closer to the planter, that might be your round and you might be on match point, but in the end, Reb now, despite the pressure, stuck it through. And now it's even, 5-5. It looked a bit scary for Granny Frost. They were starting to lose the plot, but they're showing that they are still in this match. And going into Kitchen, with hopefully a full lineup this time, and with a Capital, a great attacking operator, they're looking to push it to match point, and I think they can.
Absolutely, man. And we're just getting a little bit of word. Map sightline as we'll go for then to Cafe. finally, if we need a third map, we will go to Consulate instead of Oregon. So a little bit different, but boy oh boy, will we be very familiar with these maps at the end of the day if we weren't already. Gonna be interesting to see how this one goes, but I think Granny Frost still has a little bit of an edge as long as they can find the kills that they need to. You see Omega Savage still doing a lot of work, but Badger and Panic both up there with the kills. In fact, these guys have significantly more kills than Granny Frost. We're seeing 2 as the most from Stole, Mouse, and Lemmy, with Rainbow and Reb now, and Trick still at 1 and 0. So it feels almost like Visionary have been able to fire up a little bit, and if they continue, we could see some trouble in Granny Frostland, especially on defense for Visionary, as that is a very powerful position when played correctly.
They've at the very least upset our expectations and made it much closer than I think you or I or anybody watching thought it was going to be, especially on Granny Frost's map pick. And even if they end up losing 7-5, we can at the very least commend them of that and making it seem like it was going to be a closer game than it might have. But they still have a chance. If they heat up, like you said, they could push us to map 3. It all depends on whether Granny Frost attacks continue to be the quality that we've seen on Clubhouse and that we've seen on Cafe so far. With their full strength, Reb now can use his exothermics, unless he, of course, does get taken out early. But another star player to watch, aside from Omega, and aside from Panic, is going to be Abadu on the Echo. He's been kind of quiet. He's been the support player playing in the back. But with those 2 Yokais, those will be some of the biggest factors into this round. Granny Frost don't have an IQ, so they'll have to be on the lookout for any Yokais on the ceiling, and they'll have to look at it visually. Can't just use the IQ scanner and get it, through easy mode. It just shows it for you. You don't even have to see it visible or not. Now, going into a minute 50, it's a top-down clear coming out from Granny Frost. Nothing all that special, nothing too crazy. They're sticking to the basics, and that's what you like to see from an attack. You like to see someone who's making sure all their bases are covered, not trying to cut corners, and be lazy with how they're pushing the bomb site, trying to clear everybody playing on 3rd floor, 2nd floor, and thankfully they have an easy time because nobody is playing on either of those positions. And with a minute 30 left and breach charges and soft destruction finally coming out, Granny Frost, they're exactly on schedule with an execute for Kitchen.
Oh, they absolutely are looking very good, but here's Omega hoping to find some easy picks as well, but it will indeed go down. The explosion means that they've opened up and they're ready to move. Trick's going to find the first kill onto Abadu. Down goes the Echo. Could you ask for a better pick? No, I don't think so. Maybe the Omai, but having Echo off the board just gives you such joy and security when going for the plant or even just moving around, because you never know what's going to happen. Tricks with another onto Omega. Things looking very, very rough now for the guys on Visionary, but Lemmy finds Panic. Looks like it could be a flawless round here until Tricky takes down Rep now. It's now a 2v4 situation for Badger and Trick. Make that a 1v4 for Badger. He's going to try to find one. Will he be able to? Does take down Stoll, but not going to be able to pick up the kill as Mouse shuts him down, and we're headed to match point in favor of Granny Frost.
Bit of an unfortunate engagement to be on camera for the castle for Badger. But, you have the UMP. Odds are he wasn't going to be able to clutch that 1v4. He's not like Omega, who can just rack in those kills endlessly. And as you said, match point for Granny Frost. And it looks like it might potentially be that 7-5. The only site that they seem to have struggled with has been Cocktail. And now they've completely erased that. They already got a round win last time. And Granny Frost, they're looking like the stronger side in totality. And going into Reading Room Fireplace, we could be potentially watching the final round for Visionary. Now, to remind you of the standings, Visionary, they're in last place right now. They have 0 points. They have played some of the best teams, but now they're playing teams that are closer to them in the standings. And while it certainly has been closer than last week's match, which was a 7-2, 7-1 stomp not in their favor, a loss is still a loss no matter what the round differential is. And if Visionary end up losing this 2-0, it's not a good statement going forward, and it's going to be an extreme loss in morale and momentum for the team.
You are absolutely correct. This could be, what breaks some teams. We've seen teams just disband because they are unable to really find those wins, and you honestly never know in Tier 3. So I'm hoping that Visionary will be able to stay strong, and because it does take some time to really get a team playing well together, and maybe that's what they need is a little bit of time, and this could be some great experience for them. But you know what? Let's see if they can hold on, take us to take us to overtime. We already are in match point thanks to Granny Frost, and they're looking to shut them down as they head to the site of Reading Room. This could be good for the guys over on Visionary. They've won it before, but they also won Kitchen once before, and it didn't go their way the second time. So up in the air. Could go either way, but you said it. Granny Frost looking significantly stronger at this point. They've been able to find some good kills, bounce off each other, and they're picking up the people they need to. Oftentimes for this matchup, we've seen the opening kill be so indicative of to how the round will go. You find that first frag, and there's the first frag right there on a Tricky. Oh my goodness, just swung out at the wrong time. But it very easily could go the way of Granny Frost just based off of that first kill. The momentum that they feel might be enough to push Visionary over the edge, and well, we'll see a Granny Frost victory at the end of the day. We'll have to find out if that'll be the case. Visionary still with 4 guys, but that can change so quickly.
It absolutely can. And with 1C4 being taken off the board within the first 30 seconds of the match, that's an extremely brutal blow dealt to Visionary. And we still have 2 minutes left. Right now on the Maverick will be the first time, I believe, that Maverick in both matchups will be brought out. He was banned last time, but not this time. But he's been on the Thermite for most of the game. He will already do more than just blowtorching. He got that first kill. And the roam clear coming out from Granny Frost, it's the same kind of... I'm not even sure entirely what is going on right now. The Badger just wide swings what looked like nothing. It gets killed by the Ashes. The plant goes down inside a fireplace. Panic picks up 1 kill up top on the Jaeger, but the plant's not up top. It's down below, and it's on Savage, pushing through Train to try and get the opening for his team. He just sees the head of somebody prone, and he takes him out. And he gets another kill on the Maverick as well. Can he get the third outside the window? He misses some very critical shots. Now it's a 2v2 with the attack all above and outside. It's going to be an extreme struggle. Lemmy takes out Omega, and it's all but over. Abadu, you've got to jump out. Will he get the kill? And he will, but it's a trade. And Granny Frost, what do you know? They take the map 7-5.
Woo, man, you called it. And, just the way you called it is... Team's Visionary fired, but in the end, Granny Frost just going to be able to outpower them. And look at this final team. Capital looking great, the one-eyed wonder. Lemmy leading his team with the scores, and honestly, a fantastic game. We do have one more, and I think we will try to get an interview as well from Granny. We'll just confirm that with Kaiser, the man in the sky, doing all the work. Is that correct, Kaiser? Okay, awesome. So we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with someone who I'm sure will have some great insight as to how the game went. So don't go too far. We'll be back with some more exciting happenings in just a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ESA Siege. It is myself, Slayzilla, joined with the lovely Wonder. Wonder, you had a pretty good game tonight with Granny Frost. Tell me a little bit about the first map. You went to Clubhouse and things were even at the first half. What fired you guys up on offense? Because traditionally, this is a defender-sided map.
Um, well, we just made a new roster change,
Mhm.
picking up Lemmy or Rams, and he brought a lot to how we look at the game attacking.
Mm,
So with that change, we're more of an attacking team rather than a defending team.
okay.
So through scrims and everything, we've always felt stronger on attack. So twisting it a little bit from the norm, where Clubhouse is defender sided. If you watched the game last week, I think we won 6 attacks against
Really?
what is it?
Wait,
Can't
was
remember.
that when you guys got the 7-0 on Cafe?
Yeah, on
Okay,
Clubhouse.
yeah.
Yeah, we
Clubhouse,
set.
it was Clubhouse. Okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
went
I was
six.
there for that, man. That was an epic game too. That was
Yeah.
crazy. Okay, so you guys definitely have become a very, very dominant attacking force. Let's talk about your pick of Cafe. What made you decide to go to Cafe?
Cafe is usually our comfort pick.
Hmm.
We scrimmed it the most, and we just enjoy playing it. But we had some struggles on defense, which we have to correct. But I thought our attacking half was decent, besides my unfortunate DC, which
Mm, that
cost us a
was
pitch around.
that was tough, man. But you know what? You did a good job with the Thermite. He's a very important pillar, some would say, of a good team. So fantastic job playing a little bit of support, man. And we'll cut the interview a little bit shorter today. But do you have anything you would like to say to the rest of the teams in the league? Anything you want to tell them?
Thanks for the scrims that we've gotten, and just watch out.
All right. Well, fantastic, man. Thank you so much for joining us, Wonder. It was a great time to watch you guys play, and we'll be definitely keeping an eye on you as the rounds continue to go and we get closer and closer to playoffs. So until then, we'll see you later, man.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
All right, Links. With that, I think we're going to be able to call it a first series. We'll head on out to a little bit of a break as we get set up for our second matchup between Powerhouse and Valkyrie. Sure to be a great game, but until then, we will be back in about 8 minutes or so. So hang on, guys. We'll be back soon.